tried to shoot the drummer, but I missed and dropped him in the air. Oh no, oh. I tried to shoot the drummer, but I missed and dropped him in the air. Oh no, oh. Yeah, all around in my hometown, they're trying to track me down. Yeah, they said they couldn't stand on the slope safely. I just climbed right up. Nobody stopped me. Nobody chased me. Nobody cared that I carried a weapon. Aim for the head, but he turned at the last second. Oh, now, oh. I tried to shoot the donor, but I missed and shot him in the air. Oh no, oh. I tried to shoot the donor, but I missed and shot him in the air.
Energy. Ain't nobody wanna step to me. If you wanna bring that drama, I'll whoop that ass like Michael Obama. Yeah, I got that big D energy. Ain't nobody wanna step to me. And if you really wanna bring that drama, I'll whoop that ass like Michael Obama.
No, Michelle is a trans.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
Transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
It's okay.
I whip that beat out like Michael Obama.
We already had it with
I got that
Obama.
big
So
energy.
let's just calm down.
Nobody wanna step to me. And if you really wanna bring that drama, I whip that ass like Michael Obama. I'm a girl, 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 I'm a whip them thing out like Michael Obama. I got that big, big energy. Ain't nobody wanna step like me. And if you really wanna bring that drama, I'll whip that ass like Michael Obama. Ain't got a clip, bitch. Hung like a llama. I'll whip that dick out like Michael Obama.
When the CIA wasn't busy implanting devices in humans, bulls, and donkeys, they also experimented on common house cats. Project Acoustic Kitty was developed in the 1960s with a budget of $20 million, with the aim of implanting microphones and radio transmitters into the heads of felines as surveillance devices. Rumor has it that the project was scrapped after a prototype was run over by a taxi cab. Although, who knows how many surveillance cats are out in the wild right now? How well do you know your cat?
Spread the word with propaganda packs, all for just $40 shipped at paranoidamerican.com.
Paranoid propaganda packs. We got facts on these sticker slaps. So grab yourself a stack and go attack with these paranoid propaganda packs.
These huge all-weather slaps will last in public for years to come. Remind citizens that birds are not real. Self-immolation is an option, and might make you magnetic. Do your part and get a propaganda pack today from paranoidamerican.com.
Yeah, paranoid propaganda packs. We got facts on these sticker slaps. So grab yourself a stack and go attack with these paranoid propaganda packs.
What are you waiting for?
Britney Spears, can we be saved? God, why is Satan controlling the universe?
We used to think we knew, constantly explore the view. Our possibilities come true, so what we do is call out to the good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys. Which is where those bigger mistakes, entertaining, calming linguists. Good guys. Forum of decorum needs a secretive society to advance on philosophies intentionally, magically good guys, good guys, good guys, good guys. Which is where the mischief making. It's okay to change your thinking. Good guys. Good guys, good guys.
Speak up yourselves and welcome to another episode of the Secret Society of Good Guys. How are you, good guys?
Excellent.
How are you?
Excellent.
I'm doing pretty good.
Motherfucking
I'm excited to hang out with you
excellent.
guys.
We're bigging up.
Excited to hang out with the coolest audience if they can ever find us through all of our shadow bans. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe, and everything that you comment does help us with the algorithm, and we know he created the internet. So do go over and find us on Rumble, and we did get a verified check mark on X under Secret S of Good G. It takes a couple days apparently to get done, so we might not be live, but you can follow us on X, and we will be doing rooms and everything over there as well. So hi.
Hello.
What up, chat? What up?
Now
I
that
love you
the
guys.
business is out of the way, how's your week been? It's been a quiet week compared to like the movie that we've been watching, amping up every week. There's nothing really big happened this week.
Yeah, we didn't have any
Well-
assassination attempts this week.
You know, you bring that up, and it's fascinating that they don't even want to like kind of keep that in history. Like they're even training AI to make it seem like the event wasn't even real, that it didn't even happen, that
That
there
there's no
isn't
evidence
proof,
of it happening.
that there's no evidence. And I'm just like, yo, what the fuckery is going on with this fucking shit? And it makes me, this is the only reason that keeps me, hooked to Trump and like believing like they really don't fucking like this man, and they don't want him there for a fucking reason. I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna go for this guy because if the government don't like him, I like him.
Isn't
Dude,
it?
he's popular. He's like the video that we played at the very beginning of this. Like my most popular video by far, more than any other
Yep.
one, times 10, all added together. So there's something about just that
But-
Donald Trump energy.
But you used Abbie's little tip as a hashtag, and we maybe think that
That's
we found a new viral tip that if we hashtag things vor, that maybe
Yeah. You know what
There
I
was a
tagged
lot
mine?
of comments like, "What the hell are these hashtags about?"
Thomas.
You click on it, and it's all that weird vor anime stuff.
I wish we
I
could
said-
be. Can you have us all drawn in the belly of like Alex Jones?
Do you know what I tagged my video, Thomas? Vote for Trump.
Vote vor Trump.
Exactly. And if they cancel that, then they know that we know that they're onto us. So I want to try and make that like the new fucking thing that will make things go viral.
If you
People are
guys
into
don't
war apparently.
War is, you're gonna have to catch up with last week because Abbie took us all
Yeah.
to school.
Yeah, she schooled us on some weird
She
shit.
schooled us on what the kids are looking up.
Because I learned
And
it at
they're looking
school.
it up a lot.
They are.
So what else are they looking up?
Oh shit! What is it?
I feel like you
forget
should
what it
bring
is.
us one thing a week that the kids are looking up.
Hey,
and teach
school
us
starts
about
on
it.
Lionsgate, so it's gonna amp up. So I'll give you guys red flag reports. You'll know all about it.
Lionsgate is
interesting.
8/8,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, they say something's gonna happen on the 8th, apparently.
the DNC starts on the 18th, I think. When does the Olympics end?
Hell if I know.
Hell if I know either.
I'm out of the Olympic loop.
You know what I saw?
Simone Biles is a baddie, and the freaking dude that beat up the fucking woman boxer. That's pretty interesting.
Said it was the
Just like we
hardest
said.
punch she'd ever felt in her entire life.
Because, sorry, men are still men, even if they're puny men.
Well, I'm watching a whole argument happen now where they're like, there is a lot of women on the planet that have higher levels of testosterone. Having higher levels of testosterone and having a Y chromosome are totally different things.
Thank you.
I know straight women with higher levels of testosterone, and they're very straight. They have a very curvy body. Like, you would never guess anything about them is higher levels of testosterone, except
Because
maybe their sex drive.
testosterone converts to estrogen in the body. So, it, like, every female has testosterone too. And men who take testosterone exogenously, like who inject it into their body, end up having to take like estrogen blockers so they don't get gynecomastia and have bitch titties like the guy on
Israel Adesanya has one bitch tit when he's
Israeli
cycling.
what?
One.
but like the
Israel
guy on
Adesanya, yeah, he only gets one bitch tit when he's cycling, and fighters call him out on it. But Israel Adesanya, he's an African fighter that fights out of New Zealand, but has a
Interesting
fight
name.
I guess the tribe he's from, every member of your immediate family gets to give you a middle name.
Huh.
And I don't think that's his first name. I think that's one of his middle names, but I could be wrong. So he has like 20 names.
That must suck when
wow.
like you forgot your password and you have to like put all that crap back in.
so like being the seventh child, you'd have like a million fucking names.
Well, your aunts and uncles and your grandparents. Like,
Wow.
it's not necessarily your siblings. It's like whoever, like,
It'd be kind of cool if it was siblings. You'd be named like Rainbow Bright,
Oh, they'd be jerk offs.
Michelangelo. Yeah.
They'd totally be jerk offs. Did you guys see the Kyle Rittenhouse thing?
No.
I felt like this was a big, huge, like, it was like putting ants in the pants of a whole bunch of Republicans. Is that Kyle Rittenhouse come out and he's like, well, I am super pro the Second Amendment, and Trump really gets in my crawl with this thing. So I'm not going to vote for Trump. I'm going to write in Ron Paul. And MAGA lost their mind. They were like, bitch, you'd be in jail right now. And other people on the other side is like, so does that mean he owes you a vote? Like, at what point are like, they
But
don't
it seems
owe-
like he did recant and said, you know, like it kind of had that same vibe of hey, I spoke out of turn. I'm now listening and learning. Like I'm now voting for Trump. It almost seems like he did go back on it.
He did.
But he's not a
totally
bad
recant on
candidate
it.
that he chose, because I would vote for that guy too.
Ron
You
Paul.
know, I feel like
Yeah.
Ron Paul is kind of the right's Bernie Sanders. It's this idea of it's always going to be the candidate to throw in when you need to take the votes away when they could matter.
I don't know. They pinned him out when he was running that one time. They were trying so hard, and they did make him seem like he was fucking insane with conspiracy. Us conspiracy theorists who knew with the shit that was going on were like, yo, this guy's fucking on point. Like, I loved that he was running. Like, man, why can't Ron Paul run again? You know, why won't he run again? And then
When
Trump
did he
comes in
run
the
again?
picture.
Last 2020?
Oof. Was it 2020? Or was it before that?
I think it was before that, but
Yeah, I think it was before that. 2016, that time.
I don't know. He's a millionaire. He's a millionaire, another millionaire politician that I feel like he says he's an Alex Jones to me. He says all the right things, but he's still sitting in the seat. Nothing's gotten done. He's never gotten anything passed. It's like the left's version, Bernie Sanders. He's like, I'm always the guy that's a rabble rouser, but nothing ever changed. Nothing ever did anything. He never said any of the right things. Like, I want to
That's
back
true.
Ron Paul, but whatever happened with Ron Paul? It's like
Yeah.
he's just there to be the third party write-in candidate. The same as like if there was ever a noble, let's say liberal that was coming up with John Locke liberalism going up against, and he was making on this all this headway, they'd use Bernie to like stamp that out. I think they'd do that to a right candidate. They'd use
Well,
Ron Paul to
I think
stamp it
they
out.
kind of shadow ban him because I follow him on Facebook and I like to see what he says. And he's always calling out some shit. And it's like he doesn't get traction on any of his things. It's like he's like a nobody on the algorithm. The algorithm.
Algorithm. I don't know. Maybe he's really a nobody. Maybe like the libertarians that, you know, hang on to libertarian, but the libertarians can't really get a candidate because they can't get Ron Paul out of their way.
I mean, I remember when all my friends were throwing their votes away at Ron Paul in like 2004. You know what I mean? Like, this is not a new thing.
I've
He's always
written
been
in Ron
easy,
Paul
so
before. Oh yeah, I am by no means. I've written in Ron Paul.
it's like a coming of age experience. Like everyone has to write in Ron Paul for a presidential election at least once.
That's true. It's like being like an anarchist at some point. You got to go through all the stages. And Ron Paul, I wrote him in during Barack Obama's first run. That was the first time I wrote in Ron Paul. I may have written him in twice, but I feel like I wrote in Jesse Ventura once. I don't think I was smart enough to write in Ron Paul twice. I think I wrote in Jesse Ventura once. That whole psyop. I think all these people are kind of psyops.
Well, yeah.
And yeah, and so I just think it's interesting, the person that says all the right things, where they have to tell you the Joe Rogans and the Alex Joneses and the Ron Pauls and the Bernie Sanders, they have to tell you 80% of the truth to get you on the ship. Like, it's otherwise you wouldn't pay attention.
Well, what
You
kind
know?
of person just thinks to themselves, I should be president? Like, that alone is almost like a huge red flag just to start with. Like, you both are.
They're
I
both
should be
clone
president.
fuckers, though. They're both clone fuckers. So I think clone fuckers are the type of person that is the president. I wouldn't want to be the president.
No, I want to be
Yeah, I
vice
would.
president, so that way it just looks like I do something. I can just
I
stand there
would
and be
love
like,
to be president.
I think you're onto something. I think clone fuckers are the type of people that would want to be president.
And I would be hated and loved at the same time.
I think that there is a shirt I voted for Ron Paul
can we?
once.
What's the speech? Can we? Something.
I think that's another secret society of good guys question. What candidate have you ever written in? Have you ever written
I think
in
mine was
yourself?
Bill Clinton.
What?
Bill
You
Clinton.
wrote in Bill Clinton?
Like wrote to Bill Clinton.
Oh,
Oh.
what? What did you
Why?
write?
Because during the war, supposedly they fed us the psyop that they were saving Kosovo and the Kosovo people, but they were there for their own interests to create NATO bases. And yeah, they did help Kosovo, but they were really in there for their own interests. Otherwise,
Was this like in school?
in 1998? Yeah, and we had the opportunity to write, "Thank you so much for helping Kosovo. You're the best. Bill Clinton, Hillary, yeah, number one." Yeah, they're still obsessed with Bill Clinton and Soros' son. They pretty much sold their country off to the Soros family, literally. But it's okay. It's okay.
I think
Democracy
is actually a misnomer that all the presidents are related. I think if you actually look it up, they all hit like the 17th, like where they're like 17th relation. But I think anyone from Europe is 17. It's like we all hit the spot eventually that once we go 17 degrees, we're all related. So it's kind of like one of those silly psyops that Sinclair News told everyone about a little girl that she was the one who discovered it. All presidents are related. But then we all just repeated it.
Yeah. So they're not probably, or are they?
Or all related.
Yeah,
Supposedly,
like
once you get to like between 15 and
Duh.
20
Adam
during a
and
certain
Eve, y'all.
part of the world, we're all related. So it's like if you're Indo-European, there's a good chance that once you get back to like the 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, you're related to everybody.
But
So
also
if you're a
once
whitey,
you go like into the double digit generations, you might have the relation through like mitochondrial DNA, like to be able to trace it, but the actual genes that you share in common with any of those ancestors are like so minute, you know,
did
compared
Snopes
to
fact
people
check
that
it?
are like within 3 branches of you.
I know. He just said I was wrong. He's like, it's been fact checked by who? I'm telling you what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Look it up.
So
Do a little bit of
We're all
question
related from
is,
the baby farms back, what, 100, 200 years ago?
what makes a psyop then? A psyop is a psychological operation that's like all hypnosis, and everything is pretty much hypnosis. So everything is fucking a psyop. Whether
I mean,
you're meditating, whether you're fucking cooking, whatever. It's like a psychological thing,
Well, are you having
you
your
know?
own psychological operation on yourself?
Like
I
why
mean,
do I
if we're defining it, I'd say a psyop would have to have some kind of military involvement
I think
to
there's
call it a
definitely
psyop.
military involvement.
Like a wag the dog
with
thing.
schooling, with
Yeah,
how like the
Abbie,
system is set
look up
up.
what a psyop is and read it to us in a teacher's voice.
Okay.
And I do think that if it happens in school, that counts because that's government, like, you know, public education, and technically that's military, in my mind.
Yeah.
PSYOP,
Oh.
short for psychological operations, are military operations that use unconventional tactics and communication skills to influence the emotions and behaviors of individuals, organizations, and governments. The goal is to create
Communication
attitudes,
skills.
beliefs, understandings, or emotions that are favorable to the achievement of political and military objectives.
Well done.
Wow, I should
I
have read
thought
it
it
one
was
time first.
nuts when I was in the military. I worked on a top secret base called Security Hill, and the building that was directly next to the one that I worked in, it was called InfoSec, which stands for Information Security. But it was wild because I would actually be like in the barracks watching InfoWars videos, and then go to work next to the InfoSec building, and I just always felt like I was like on the other side, like the exact opposite side of the spectrum as InfoWars, where like he's waging the warfare, and then the military is like guarding, like InfoSec versus the info war.
I wonder sometimes, is religion a psyop?
Yeah,
Because
because
I
Absolutely.
it's
don't
all.
believe
This is
religion.
where, because
It's
cults,
control.
so many cults are psychological operations. Like Jim Jones is entirely a psychological operation. Everything about that cult, but probably Scientology too, is entirely CIA and a psychological operation. But I would guess all these big cults, every
Yeah.
single one of them that you look into, and so many small ones we've never even heard of, all psychological operations, and they're each doing different kind of um, psychedelic operations. In some of them they're doing information operations, some of them but I think this is kind of what we're in. They did it
Yeah.
all in tiny cults, and now they're doing it in our states, or we all have different algorithms that we're getting fed. Like, how many people are on your algorithm that you don't follow, and it's just shit that kind of triggers you, and you're
Yeah,
like,
because
what,
it's
why am I seeing this? And then you're like, wait a minute,
it's
this is a
supposed to be a way
psychological
of
operation.
life. Like it's not supposed to be like legions. Like you're relying on legions, and that is cults, and it's supposed to be a way of life. That's what these religions are supposed to be, and we have the word wrong, and that's what's causing this divide between people, especially through the Abrahamic system. You have all these prophets that we talk about, from Adam to Moses to Jesus, and all the in between. They all had the same characteristics as Jesus. Some were able to raise the dead. Some were able to breathe life into clay and bring it to life. So I think it's just about a way of life and how to connect to God, so you can have the ability to do what these prophets or messiahs or messengers, whatever you want to call them, to have those capabilities to do what they did. But we aren't connected, and that's why I think the
It's
chemtrails
the
come
I
along.
am versus like realizing you are the I am versus like needing an intercessor. And that's what religion
Yeah,
is, giving you the intercessor, and you have to have somebody between you, and that somebody gets to control you.
yeah, and that's not the way. That's not the way of life. And then what religion is bringing is death, and a way of life. How is death a way of life when it should be life? So I don't understand this concept of religion relying on these legions of oh, this is the way and my God is better than your God, but it's the same fucking system. It's
Do you think
mind
that
blowing.
the books are different psyops than the churches?
I think they had one clear message, but people along the way have added and distorted things, because I believe they were all these messengers came and gave the same word as each and every prophet or messiah or whatever you want to call them, from Adam to, let's say, Muhammad, or these current gurus that we have today, because they seem to like know how to live in peace. So
But even just looking at the Bible, the King James version is what we call the standard Bible, right? And everybody thinks that that's like the word of God. But before the King James Bible, before King James even got involved in it, in this little psychological operation,
The
before that,
cross-dressing
it was
werewolf
called
hunter.
the
That you
Geneva
have to add
Bible.
that part.
Do it again. Say
yeah,
it again.
and King James.
The King James, the cross-dressing werewolf hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Oh,
King
yeah.
James was
Killed
actually really
thousands of
known for
women
not just for the Bible,
for
but
witches.
more known for his other books. And they were all
Demonology.
demonic. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all demonic. So you're going to believe in a book of a person who is a demonologist? What?
But
A
he
what?
took the Bible, like he took the Geneva Bible, and he had like the armor of God. In the armor of God, it talks about how you should stand up to like people, I want to say even like religious people. And he took all that out, like heads of state. It says something about heads of state, standing up to heads of state in the armor of God in Ephesians. And then he took that out because he is the head of state. And he didn't want anybody to question his divine right to rule. So there's a lot of psychological operations just in the translation of the Bible.
So I have a question. Because sometimes I feel like when I read the Bible, it's all these different versions of these people and their time with Jesus, and it's reminding me of like hadiths and what he said, she said. I want to know the clear words of only what Jesus said, not like, oh, I saw him. I want to know only what Jesus's words are. I
You
don't
can,
care about Paul or
the
John
red
or,
letter
The
Bibles,
red writing.
they'll just do it. They'll do
it's
all the
in
words
red
of
writing.
Jesus in red. Yeah, not
Uh-uh.
every Bible, but in some Bibles they'll have the red letter
I think
version, and it'll just be
that's the important message out of the Bible should be only what Jesus said, not what John or whatever what their thoughts are, because I don't think they're the chosen and their words are not valid for me, because they're human, and humans I really have a hard time trusting. But if I could just like get just only a book just with his words and minus everyone's out, I would love to read that book.
But isn't that just relayed by other people? Because no one wrote it down for 30 years, right? So like as Jesus was
Is it
apparently
Michael?
giving.
Who was it? The one that was like kind of like not, he was a little I'm gonna say the word retarded.
like Rain Man.
Yeah, who was that character? Was it Michael?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think Michael. No, I mean there's Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Those are the four
Matthew.
different
I think it's
gospels.
Matthew. Matthew, the one who was the
But it's like you
tax
have to go
collector.
with at least one of them, because there aren't any, like, nothing that Jesus was specifically quoted as being verbatim or anything, because it was, that's one of the things that blows my mind. It was like the most important thing ever, but no one wrote it down for 30 years.
Like, why? Like,
There was
I want to know
saying
his
so
words.
that those are like the 4 dudes that walked around alongside of him, but there's other books of other people that walked alongside of him that some people theorize are the missing books of the gospel. So
The
then
Apocrypha, right?
sometimes, well, yeah, and there's like the book of Egyptians, and there's like the book of Thomas, there's Mary of Magdalene, there's the book of Judah. It's like the amount of them that you kind of wonder if we were to get you wonder sometimes at the psyop, we always think as the psyop being something added to us, but sometimes I wonder how much of the psyop is what is taken away from us.
I think that's a huge part of it is what's taken away.
Yeah. So what if Jesus actually did write his own book and it's out there and they have it and they don't want us to have it? Because he was not illiterate. He was not lazy. He was a carpenter, for crying out loud. We think something's going to stop him from writing his own words down.
Well,
I don't
think
know.
he could speak a lot of languages. A lot of his apostles would have been able to speak a lot of
He was
languages.
intelligent.
And Mary of Magdalene, she studied at the school of Isis. A lot of people theorize, and she was from a really wealthy tribe of Israel, so she wouldn't have been illiterate. So it's the amount of people that could have written about him in the current moment that he was around. You're right. There probably is a good opportunity that there are those books in his writings, and they would never want us to have them.
Never. Never, never, never,
Because
never.
it
And I believe
probably
there
a lot
is.
of it would be fuck the state, fuck the church, fuck the man, fuck currency, flip the tables, make sure you have a lot of guns because they're always going to keep coming. You'd probably be pro bow and arrow,
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard
I'm
of
telling you.
pro
the
slingshot. That's
the
how you kill
Armenian
Nephilim.
infancy gospel?
The
Uh-uh.
what?
The Armenian infancy gospel. And it was basically the story of Jesus as a kid, because there's not a lot of stories of him growing up. It's like all him as like an older dude, right? So there's actually one that made its way through Armenia. And I figured you might have heard of it at some point, but it's part of the Apocrypha.
Interesting.
I'm so
He has a
curious
book.
about
I'm
it.
telling you, he has a book. If he was chosen by God and his mission was to spread the word of God, there has to be a book written by him in his words. Has to be. Has to
What do
be.
you guys think about
See-
the Last Supper at the Olympics? Not to jump off of it, Abby, if you want to have something to say about it.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, like, the way I grew up, because I didn't grow up traditional Christian, I grew up with the Urantia book, right? So I always knew the stories of Jesus as a child and in his early years. So it's so weird, like, to switch over to a church where, like, we just jump into him basically being 33 years old or whatever. So it's kind of wild.
Yeah. There's the missing years. The missing years. The wonder years. There'd be like a whole different that little period of time that you do where he has a voiceover.
Yeah.
It's just Jesus from that time to that time. But did you guys, what do you think? Do you think it was, we know it's purposefully blasphemous for them to do the Olympics the way they did with the Last Supper, and they're going to add Dionysus to it and have Ballsack hang out next to child?
as you do.
What the fuck? That shit
Bizarre.
was wild.
Bizarre. And the fact that they allowed a fucking man to beat on a woman, bro? And a fucking pedophile fucking play in the Olympics too, a convicted pedophile who raped a 12-year-old. Worst Olympics in history.
Did you see the thing where they're doing the sharpshooter stuff and they're like, the Ukrainian guy was, or was the guy from Turkey? They thought he
Turkey.
was the actual,
Turkey.
yeah, that he was an actual, what, like, not
No, they're
sniper,
just
what's the word for it?
crazy. Yeah, they're just crazy in Turkey. You don't want to fuck with Turkey. You know how many times they've gotten up and like taken out politicians and like threw them in the dumpsters and like, fuck out of here. You're no longer serving for us. Like
I
they
feel
will
like
stand up.
Turkish may have committed more genocides than any other group on the planet.
Probably
That's a
with
lot to say.
Mongolia and Mongolia.
They're up
Mongolia
there with
fucked
each
a lot
other.
of people. Yeah.
But like the Mongolia could have like moved in and said, "Here are our ways," and people could have been like,
Yeah.
heard.
Now we're Turkish, and this is the Turkish way.
Yeah, Turkish
And
didn't like they just genocide, and just took over for a while.
yeah,
They were Turkey, and that's some reason I feel like America didn't go with the eagle and went with the turkey and constantly ate it. There was some kind of like mocking of them naming that bird turkey because it was
yeah,
supposed to be our national bird before the bald eagle. So it being named turkey and then it being the thing that we break bread with on Thanksgiving is some kind of mocking of
dude.
the Turkish Empire.
Well, they are the ones who created the Israeli flag. They are part of the Shrinery, and I think a lot of it stems from Turkey. A lot of that knowledge they say, but I know they stole that information from the Balkan area because it's all the symbology is ancient as fuck and it connects to that part of the world. But yeah, they're a fucking psyop on its own. Like
You know what else they
completely.
did to us? And I could be wrong, but the last Olympics, that didn't it happen a year later, but they used all the same signage? Like the Olympics didn't happen on time because of COVID. So they did the Summer Olympics a year later, but they didn't
Oh yeah.
change any of the signs. And so it's like we've had 2 Olympics in a row that are really kind of symbolic. Like, I mean, they're all fucking weird, but the last 2 specifically have been
There you go.
crazy. And the Winter Olympics doesn't count the same. It just
Yeah.
doesn't count the same. It's like Winter Olympics is just the rich people Olympics. Because most of the sports that are in the Winter Olympics, you have to have money to do. Like most of the sports that are in the Summer Olympics, everybody can run.
Jamaica, we
Everybody
have
can
a
fight.
bobsled team.
Sabate and
Sorry, my head just went
Frankus.
there. Nimrod.
You know, Candace Owens just recently spoken about the Sabbatarian Frankists, and she went full conspiracy and is like, this is what they are. They go by any religion just to infiltrate governments and ba 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 ba, and it's fucking insane. I was like, damn, Candace, like, holy shit, she's like out there, like what we do,
Good.
she's doing. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe people will listen.
Dude,
Yeah, they
Jason
canceling the
Whitlock
shit
from
out
The
of her.
Blaze keeps like calling Obama out for being the first gay president. Like 3 of his posts the other day. I was like, what the fuck? Like on The Blaze.
I was on the Blaze a little bit last week.
I know, that's so
I
awesome.
forgot about it.
Shout that
And
out, Chaney.
yeah, shout it out. I don't know what episode, but I hung out with Alex Stein a little bit on the Blaze. He is an old, longtime friend, and it's been a while since we've hung out on air, and it was impromptu. And I didn't plan on it, but I ended up getting into a whole debate with a dude about he was just like C-section should be the way. C-sections are the
Shut the
way.
fuck up, bruh.
No, and I did not plan on it, but it triggered the shit out of me.
Not you, but
and
like him.
I know. And so we ended up in a debate.
Wait,
about
Wow.
what's the reasoning for that?
He says that 300,000 women a year die of in childbirth, and I'm like, yeah, but 140 million people are born, so your percentage is 0.002.
Do you know why?
Like you're
Because they forced the pregnancy instead of letting it naturally
that's
happen.
what
Like,
I
oh,
said. It's all
the baby doesn't come out. The baby's supposed to come out. No, the baby
We're
will
gonna
come out.
induce you by this date. Yeah, it's
Like, what the fuck? She's not ready yet. When she's ready, that baby will fucking come out within seconds. There's like, and it won't be painful either. But you're putting these women in pain and ripping them apart, like not letting them do
and a
its
lot of
thing
the numbers
naturally.
that they go on are in like third world countries that
Yeah,
have Bill Gates
that's what I was
prenatal
gonna say.
care, and it's like there's not
Or
enough
they
doctors
no
to go
prenatal
around
care.
anyway. Yeah, it's so much. We don't have to get into the psyop of birthing, right? I mean,
And by
birthing,
a
the whole
man.
entire thing, that they
I would
do.
guess
And
the statistic in the United States is very, very, very low.
oh my gosh. And even the
Uh,
way he was going at midwives and doulas, and I was like, you are talking about them like they're doctors. Doctors are the ones with egos. Midwives, if anything's wrong, they're going to go to the doctor. That's what you go to the doctor for if something's wrong. But having a baby isn't something wrong. It's not a sickness. It doesn't need to be around dying or sick people in a MRSA staff building. It can be in water, preferably with a daddy and a mommy and dolphins.
There you go.
But not the rapey dolphins.
Not the
Well,
rapey
you
kind.
need those too. Those are part of it.
If you ever watch a fish,
just set the
dolphins
mood.
aren't fish. But if you ever watch certain fish when they get pregnant, all the male fish come and knock that bitch around. They beat the shit out of her because they're trying to help her not get impacted and get all those eggs out. So they like beat her all around and flip her upside down. It's pretty wild to watch.
I
I
bet.
can't help it. Any
Guess we
fish
know
I
how
put
she
inside my
gets it.
fish
She
aquarium.
gets beaten. Sexed in, then beaten.
Yeah. It's like 5 of them too. They'll just throw her all around.
Sexed in and beat out.
There you go. Sexed in and beat out.
But yeah, psyops upon psyops. So yeah, I think everyone should be able to vote or not vote or do whatever the fuck they want. I don't care if
some
they.
people believe that's a psyop voting.
I know. I feel like people should be able to do what they want in general as adults. Like in general, I can tell you what I would do, but in general, even if it's like, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm Kyle Rittenhouse and blah blah blah. Kyle Rittenhouse completely is a psyop. Everything about Kyle Rittenhouse, from the shooting to the news to the trial to the thing,
To Sandy-
he is George
Isn't he one of those
Floyd
child
for
actors,
the conservative Republican side. He was just another Jussie Smollett, in my opinion. He's just another CIA actor. He could be a Ron DeSantis clone. There's something about that chubby kid that I'm like, something's so off. Remember his cry in court? No one believed it. Why? Like, give me a fucking break. Like, just because somebody agrees with you part of the time, stop putting them on pedestals. Stop putting them on fucking pedestals with these little fucking kid that's shooting someone in the middle of the street.
Right. He was. How old was he when that happened? He was like 16 or 17, right?
17, I believe. 17.
So that would be so wild, though, to be 17 years old, go through this. It must have been confusing as hell. It's not like he planned and had this whole game plan figured out, and then all of a sudden, people are like, "What should I do with my life, Kyle? Like, you're my hero. What do I do?" And he's like, "I'm just trying to graduate high school."
Well, it's the same idea of like listening to an actor or a fucking rock star telling you like who you should vote for. Like,
Right.
who the fuck
What
are
about
you?
what about Quavo representing for
you done?
Kamala Harris?
Oh my
Central
god.
casting.
I never in a
All
million
central
years had
casting.
on my bingo card that the Migos were going to be part of a presidential campaign.
The Migos or for Meg the Stallion.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Potato,
I'm a hot
She
potato.
looks
girl.
good right
I do
now.
hot shit.
I'm not gonna front. I'm like, damn, how'd she lose all that weight? Oh,
I'm gonna use that
Oprah
song on one of
Zempic.
my posing videos.
Everybody's on that Oprah Zempic.
Oprah Zempic.
And let me introduce my my co-host for Sound Science and a bunch of other shows I've been doing. This is Jules, aka
Hello.
Rape
Hello,
Hill Podcast.
Jules.
What's going on, ladies?
Welcome.
Welcome
Happy
to
to be
the
here.
Secret
Very
Society
happy
of
to be
Good
here.
Guys. Thanks
Chaney.
for
So are you
staying up
voting for
late.
Kyle Rittenhouse? Or are you voting for Quavo?
Who's Quavo? He's a Migo?
Migo. He's one of the Migos. One of those surviving Migos.
He makes
some good beats,
not gonna lie.
Probably Kyle Rittenhouse. I mean, what are the stipulations?
What are we voting for him for?
It can't be that
President.
easy.
The treasurer? Oh, president.
President. Yeah, president.
Quavo.
President Quavo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know
yeah.
how well that would work out with Quavo.
I think it'll work out. Anarchist, that's what I feel. Anarchy vibes.
Anarchy vibes?
Mhm.
Anarchy vibes.
Yeah,
don't know.
like fuck the
With
government.
Quavo?
I'm going to be
Get
real.
your
This
guns
is the
out.
most feminist thing that I could say. I don't know if men can handle anarchy.
You think?
I don't think they can. I don't think anyone can.
I think women would be okay with anarchy, but I don't think men can handle anarchy. Are there exceptions to the rule? Yes. There's creepy women. You can go through all the things I know. But in general, I don't think any of the reason I run at night or can't run at night, it has anything to do with any women. Or I don't think any reason of any trans agenda. I think it's has nothing to do with women. I don't think anything, I don't know, so many creepy shit in the world, I don't think has anything to do with fucking women.
Yeah.
So I
Here's the
don't know.
thing.
It's a feminist and it's a psyop, but it's just like, what is it? That's a
We can-
psyop.
Here's
That
the
like
thing.
sex addiction's a psyop.
Here's what we stopped doing, okay? We could live in anarchy, and it has been done, but we have lost the art of shaming people in the village of like families. Okay, that's how it was. It was like all families, and everyone lived together in harmony, and no one fucked around with each other, and it was about honor, respect, your word. So anytime someone stepped out of line, either that motherfucker got his ass fucking beat by all the men in town
The whole
and said,
town.
try that again, motherfucker, and see what
Natural law.
happens.
We kick them right out
And
of the village.
We
you
should
do that
still
again,
that with all
exiled.
all of the
Love it.
rapists and all the pedophiles. We should just take them to the middle of the town and
Yeah. And women were safe because men wouldn't dare touch women.
stone them.
Yeah, if there was a little bit of shaming
And
and a little
keep-
bit of exiling going on, it would end quickly. A little bit of natural
Absolutely.
law where you actually have a mountain in your village.
Maybe a little
Everybody
bit
has
of
an MMA fighter.
public castration.
hmm
Yeah.
It might
And
be.
now they want everyone to move away from each other. Oh, you have to go off to college. So you go like on the other side of the fucking country and you guys separate. So you don't have your army. Who do you rely on? You rely on 911. You rely on the government. You rely on Dr. Fauci. And it's just like,
You go to
Yeah.
your university,
thank you.
learn about the universe.
Yeah.
Move
So
out
if we
a
could
little
have
you
that,
Move out of the city. You have to move out of the city, move to the country, or move to the coast somewhere, preferably in the south.
because
Y'all all live in Florida, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
I
not
mean-
all.
Just the cool ones.
Sorry, Abby.
That would be a game change if space were real. If you put like if you were a pedophile, you get exiled on a rocket right out of here. We don't know where the rocket's going to end. It'll run out of gas eventually, but whatever speed it runs out of gas, you're just going to go that infinitely into the universe. And one day you're going to run out of air, and one day you're going to run out of food, and we're going to put tickers and battery counters on the side so you can watch all of these go down infinitely as you just zoom away from a thing that will become a tiny little light in the distance and disappear.
Well, that
And you'll
sure sounds
watch
like
yourself
the
die.
100 when they're like, go float yourself. They float people.
Yep, just let them out. Vacuum of space. Zoof.
Yep.
I think, and
Sorry,
they
I
should.
got really
I feel the same way
brutal,
about like prisoners. They put them on like death row, where like they get these life sentences. Like they should actually have the opportunity to entertain the rest of the world. Like they like without having any benefit from it, other than in your scenario, right? You shoot them out in the outer space, and they've got this little like oxygen tank that's just ticking down. But every time they do something cool or entertaining, like the world can vote to give them like another 5 minutes of oxygen or something.
So you're kind of talking Gladiator, but like
Running Man, Logan's
with a lot-
Run,
yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit
It
of
would be put on
everything,
like
yeah.
a big screen somewhere in like
this
every
wasn't-
bar or
This isn't a way to like necessarily try and redeem anybody. Like the thought was that, for example, Tiger King, right? Tiger King's going to be locked up perhaps forever, maybe not if they ever release him, but like he is such an entertaining person that it's a
That's your
tragedy to the
boy.
rest of humankind to
That's-
have him locked up and at least not, entertaining us. Like they should at the very least be able to have a TV show or like live streams or something, you know what I mean? Because they, in a very real, tangible way, they can still contribute to society in interesting ways. In the case of sending pedos off into space, maybe they can figure out how spiders weave webs, up close in space, and then they just don't need the return ticket.
Yeah, like
and
send them on the moon.
nothing's even romantic anymore when you think about it. Like, even the sexualization and everything, like, I kind of like the idea of being courted. Yeah, I like having our freedoms and a freedom to choose who you want to be with, because some women don't have that choice. But I love that we have that choice. But now today, like, even the dating scene, like back in the day, it was just like this whole courting, and the man would go up to the father and say, "Hey, I want to date your daughter," and the father would know, like, "Hey, is this a good guy or not a good guy? Are you gonna fuck around with my daughter, or what's going on here?" So it's like,
Yeah.
that aspect is missing also, and it's like, yeah, freedom and do what you want and fuck whoever you want, but honestly, it really isn't. It's not the way. That innocence is missing. Like,
You're right. You're
yeah,
absolutely right.
it should come back in a sense, but like still have the freedom to choose who you want to be with, but have more respect. The respect is gone for everything, for land, for people, for animals, for everything.
Yeah.
My dad
Yeah.
showed every guy that would take me or my sisters out on a date his gun collection.
Oh,
That's
lovely.
awesome. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do that for my daughter.
It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
My,
She's at a very young age right now. She's about 2.5. So got a long way to go. I have a long way to get a plan ready for what to do whenever the guy shows up.
That's
Yeah,
good.
absolutely.
Goes fast though.
It's all
You'll
about the
blink and she'll be
energy
like 17.
right here. You just look him in the eyes and you know if he's a motherfucker.
I'm just gonna
or not.
open the door with my shirt off and just my tattoos and shit. And
Cigarette hanging from your mouth.
yeah,
Ask him if you'd fuck his
I have
phone.
a giant like head of a wolf on my stomach, so it's hard to see. But I plan to get a lot more tattoos before my daughter hits that age. So
Call him Peckerwood when he shows up.
what's up, motherfucker?
I like
yeah,
that.
here in Mississippi, you have to. Well, I guess the gun laws are pretty lenient here. They're probably the same as they are in Florida.
That's a weird fucking word, Mississippi.
Mississippi, I know, right? There's a lot of S's.
Yeah, let me just name this state Mississippi.
I'm
Like,
from the
that's so
timeline where the
strange.
Mississippi River flows backward. Do you have any information about this?
I know about the Pearl River, which is full of probably dead bodies and garbage and blue
Pearl
full of
River?
python.
Where?
Huh?
Where's that? Pearl River.
It runs through Jackson. So I guess
Jackson where?
Jackson, Mississippi.
Oh, Mississippi. Oh, I'm sorry.
The most unfortunate place to live.
Mm.
Yeah, I moved. I grew up right in the middle of Jackson, which was fun. Like I had a great time, but now
Is that anywhere near
I
Greenbow,
couldn't imagine doing
Alabama?
that now. Huh?
All right.
Alabama? Where?
What
Greenbelt?
about Alabama?
I just had to scream out like Forrest Gump. Don't even mind me.
I did it the whole time I was driving to Florida. Like, because when we drove through Alabama, I was like, Greenbow, Alabama, we gotta go.
It's a lot like Alabama. Worse, probably.
Oh, Lord.
But you make the best out of it, and I got a pretty good thing going. So it's not the West Coast or some
Florida.
some major city. I'd love to live in Florida, to be honest with you.
Florida's great.
I'm sure it has its downs.
There is some downs here, but you
But
know, there's
worth it.
also some like
fucking
autism
worth it.
and full retards.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Especially on the roads. Oh, God, the road rage is real.
Florida. Don't you think Florida, they like set up this psyop though a little bit with Florida where they gave us this huge election between algorithm and CIA Bush Jr. and they stole it on purpose and not stole it and did us that whole kerfluffle. That was kind of like a test to see what that was almost like a test stolen election. Will they
And I
put up
think
with it?
too when they did that, I guarantee you there was somebody somewhere behind the scenes. They were like, "Damn, that was so much easier than we thought. Why did we wait so long to do this? Like the hanging chat. That's all we needed. Wow, this is like a gold mine."
You
They
know,
just
that
got
always
one.
reminds me of Kevin Spacey too, because didn't he do the movie about that?
Which
I don't
one?
know.
Which movie?
There was a movie about that election
I
and
thought
the
you were
whole
gonna
Florida
say because he
thing.
hung a guy named Chad.
Why
No,
does
but
that
I
sound
think
familiar?
perhaps he did. Because
You're
he
not talking
sat
about House
there,
of
I remember
Cards,
him doing the
the House
hanging
of Cards
Chads
show?
thing.
He hung a guy named Chad, or he had a hung guy named Chad.
He had a guy hung named Chad.
Yeah,
With a red scarf.
I don't know how to say it. The
Yeah.
guy had a big hog.
Oh,
His name was Chad.
Recount. The
Or he
Recount
was a
movie.
total Chad.
That's what you're talking about.
Was he in it or am I
Recount?
wrong?
No, he was in it. He was the main character in it.
Period. See?
Interesting.
Another
So
Kevin
it's like
Spacey flick.
then after that, Florida Man became a whole big thing that the whole entire country could mock Florida Man. And it just
Right.
became a mock. At the same time that was happening, they were building up Texan. Everything's bigger in Texas and Texas pride and Texas. And it's like Austin was already like getting to the point where it was slowly like encroaching on this Texas way. Keep Austin weird, which is the same as Portland, CIA city.
It's real
It's where
weird now.
Hollywood's all
Yeah.
moving to Austin.
Yeah,
There
so
should
it's
be
just
a
weird.
there should
All
be
the
a
Florida
fucking
move.
man, like there should be a Mississippi man, definitely, like a lot worse than Florida man. I mean,
That's what
this
I
this
imagine.
place
You
is,
guys have your own swamp man.
yeah,
That's it,
this place is 10 years behind everything. So
I
you want to keep up, you got to keep up.
I mean, I
Time
kind of know
travel.
what he means because I lived in Waco and I felt like I was 10 years behind, and it just looked that way. Like, wow, everything's old
Yeah.
here. Mhm.
Don't you
Yeah.
think Timothy McVeigh, you said Waco, and don't you think he is a key figure if you were to teach someone, if you only could give them 10 things like to try to prove a psyop to them? Don't you think just Timothy McVeigh, just look into Timothy McVeigh, because you could look into Waco and the Oklahoma City bombing and Michigan militias, all in like kink, 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 like so much. He's a psyop.
Yeah.
He just happens to be at Waco. And then he just happened. Sure, Jan. Sure.
I would even say look at any single lone wolf anything, and that's guaranteed a psyop in my mind. Anytime they say we found it, it was one dude planned it himself,
Yeah.
total loner, no friends, no family.
Such
That's it.
bullshit.
Wrapped up. You know, we figured it out, guys. Next
Done.
one.
Case closed. Yeah.
Yeah.
And on the
Those
next
So-
are
episode
always
of the United States of America or Israel.
wolves get used a lot because they're a direct competition for food as well. So you even have the mocking that will come up again, or they wanted it to come up for us, where that's why they wanted to mock Sarah Palin and her shooting wolves with helicopters and doing all this stuff in Alaska, because people do live off the grid in Alaska, and the only direct competition for them with food is wolves. And
Mhm.
so in a lot of, they even say the Nazis released a whole bunch of wolves in Germany. So when they
skinwalkers.
starved the population, when you start hunting for things to try to feed your family, then wolves are already eating it up. They're better hunters than you. So that's one part of a psyop, including wolves. And then another one is everybody always says the term alpha male, alpha male, alpha male. This term comes from a study done on wolves. The problem with the study is the wolves were in captivity, and they realized the strongest, biggest wolf, when you withhold all of the food, will eventually snap and then use its muscle in a way it never knew before to take the food from the others. But
Yeah.
out of captivity, the wolves never worked that way. There was no such thing as an alpha male. So that all the people that originally did this study of alpha male and wolves recanted the study and said it was a bunk study to begin with. So this whole terminology that we use in all of society is off a bunk study with wolves. So it's just like wolves seem to be involved in a lot of psyops.
So wolf packs are real, right? But the
Yeah.
alpha. Okay.
Yeah, there's no such thing as an alpha male in a wolf pack.
Or
Gotcha.
that there's the alpha male role is like a shifting role. It's not that like one particular wolf is the alpha male and like it's not the same thing as they have the gorillas that will just take over the entire sort of gorilla tribe until one challenges it. Like every time the wolves go out on any sort of group pack, one of them just naturally becomes kind of like the alpha wolf for that excursion.
They use the strength of, like, if one became bigger and stronger, that is a tool for the entire pack. The same way if one figured out a tool, like how to break open something with its teeth, that would become a tool for the entire pack. So if one of the wolves was pregnant, old, injured, they want to build the entire wolf line around that wolf. They don't want it to lead. They don't want it to be in the back. They want to make sure that their weakest wolf is protected because that's as strong as the pack is.
That's awesome. You'd think that they'd want to just kill it, as some people like to describe wolves.
No, and they always used to tell us that, like, oh, they'll like survival of the fittest and the pecking order and all this stuff. Certain animals will do that, but other animals will completely adopt an animal of a different species that's injured.
Well,
So
and
it's
people,
like
that's where feral children come from. Like there's
feral
lots of
children.
instances where like literally raised by wolves is a real thing that happens.
It's crazy how they know, like, don't harm this thing. It's a little baby. It's a little child. And they won't eat it.
Do you remember the movie Walk Like a Man?
With Howie Mandel,
Yeah.
Layla's favorite.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Bobo.
I swear, every time I start with that shoe stuff, he like ends the live. He's like, all right, guys. All right. I'm headed out. Thank you all. Love you all.
Howie
I'm like, you
Mandel psyop.
Speaking of,
motherfucker.
yeah, I saw a Wayfair commercial the other day, and I was
Shit.
like, ugh. Back on
hates
Do you
that.
think there's ever been anything organic? Do you think we've ever done anything organic? Do you think like
I don't
we
know.
busted an algorithm ever? You know, because this is really what I believe. I believe Epstein didn't kill himself. I believe all of us little ants, Epstein didn't kill himself and made each other laugh. Epstein didn't kill himself. Epstein didn't kill himself. Epstein didn't kill himself. And so they had to keep it in the zeitgeist. It became this thing that had to stay there. And then I would say the left's version of taking over, where now we have no idea what is an organic, like that came up for real. Bernie Mittens. Once Bernie Mittens was there, it's like, oh, they figured out the pop song of memes. They figured it out.
Yeah.
Whatever the little codex was of getting us to jump on.
Dude, sometimes I think like even these deaths that happened, I'm like, oh, they're saying that they died, but they're off at some island that we don't even know about. Because all of a sudden islands are appearing out of nowhere, like by the hundreds of thousands, apparently. And I'm just like, oh, so they're probably on just one of these islands having the time of their life. You know, they're not dead.
Don't you think this is kind of real? That Juan did bring homunculus, and then it became a thing that permeated enough people, and then enough people said homunculus in a realm that it became a thing that everyone
Yeah.
just knows what it is. That you could just be like, oh, that's a homunculus, or this is a homunculus idea.
I saw
Where
the stupidest TikTok video the other day where this guy was explaining what a homunculus was. Totally wrong. He's like, have you ever heard of a homunculus? And I was like,
I've seen people do that.
dude, I tagged one. I was like, this guy can tell you what a homunculus is.
even on the
Yeah, you
small
have to.
scale, that feels like some huge. It has nothing to do with me, but it feels like really big validation.
It
that
does, right?
somewhere we permeate the zeitgeist sometimes.
I feel like Paranoid Americans, Big D Energy has done quite a bit. And that's like saying Big Mike, because now all of a sudden, you know, the Blaze is talking about Obama being the first gay president, and it's on the cover of Newsweek. Like, what the fuck?
It only takes one viral post to like get the attention of the Big Mike
Yeah.
song, and now all of a sudden they're putting it on Newsmax or something, and they're like, "Look at this disgusting, horrible hate speech. Let's find who created this and send them to jail.
Oh,
Also, the French president's wife, like they're like diving into that, like many like news resources now. Candace Owens started it. What's his name? That British guy. What the fuck is his name? man?
Piers Morgan.
Piers Morgan. Yeah, he brings it up now. He's like,
I feel like that was us.
Yeah.
Because Macron's
Sometimes-
wife is
In
a
a way it was.
pedophile. She was a pedophile. She was his teacher. Like, that whole entire thing is wild.
They're weird.
Shout out to Jamie Deluxe again, you guys. Make sure you find Jamie Deluxe. He's back on YouTube, and you will learn all the stuff I always talk about with Hollywood. He goes deep, connects names, connects things, and YouTube will probably take him down soon, is my guess.
Your YouTube
just-
chat is wild. Like,
They're awesome.
They're
it's
so
bumping.
smart.
Yeah,
They're
that's
super
Chef's
smart.
kiss.
For anyone that's following us on any of the other
up,
channels,
guys?
if you do enjoy a chat room, the Project Chaney chat is usually the most active as long as it's here. But I do think Jamie Deluxe does next level work, and the connections that he makes to all of these things that go so much further back and so much deeper. But the reason I brought it up is because Trudeau's, not Castro, his other dad, is like, he was all involved. Like, who was the lady? Is it O'Brien that wrote all the books about being like MK Ultra?
Kathy O'Brien.
Kathy
Yeah.
O'Brien.
Yeah.
Transformation America.
Yeah, like
Dude, that's what I first kind of woke up to with the MK Ultra. Me and Austin Picard were talking about.
That's a rough
weeks ago.
first entry into it. It's like, yeah, they were carving people's faces into my clit.
yeah, like
Oh my
I feel like she really, that book, if that's your first, you're like a decade ahead of where you end up after all the esoteric and after when you get into the politics and you get in, because you're like, that's so crazy, that can't be real. Like, you won't even put it as a filter in your head. Like, it takes like a decade before you hit it again, and you're like, oh my gosh. Like, when like the Epstein and the Hugh Hefner and the Pizzagate of it all. I don't even know if you can say that word together.
I don't think you can.
I don't think
Oh,
you
well.
can either. Yeah.
There go your Hyundai
Little
commercial.
Caesars. I know. I just am like gonna get some kind of banner, and they're gonna make me sit through a class on YouTube. The weird part about YouTube too, the psyop of YouTube, is Google, because there's this thing right now, like if you put Trump in your Google bar, every single thing it pulls up has Kamala in the search. And so YouTube is the second biggest search engine on the planet. So if they hate me in my social credit score, it's like, oh gosh, I have to keep making these accounts.
So how many do you have now?
I have no idea. I am kind of glad, because when I did check mark and put my phone number in for Secret Society of Good Guys on X, make sure you guys follow that, Secret S of Good G, as long as it's that name. But it did tell me the other accounts that I had my phone number attached to, and it was these MMA accounts that I was like, oh, I have some other accounts I can change. Like, it made me feel like he, because they always take so many accounts from me. I have other accounts I forgot I have that have nothing to do with any of this, that I'm like, game on.
You got a few in the chamber, yeah.
Yeah,
awesome.
it does make me, I'm like, I'm gonna let him be. I'm just gonna let him chill. But just in case, you can follow me at the Vatican on True Social. And JRE on True Social. But those are all just out of boredom one night when True Social was first, where you could grab names. We were just grabbing all the names just in case. Just in case X has its 10 days of darkness. People will be desperate to speak to each other.
I never even thought about that. I never got on True Social. Probably completely forgot that it existed.
There's a reason to
Low-key,
me
me
that
too.
Donald Trump just doesn't communicate on X, because he has free reign to. It's like contractually he can write over there as much as he wants to. So even like in the politics of it, even in the election season of it, why wouldn't you use the platform? So something's weird.
Well, it's almost like there's no benefit for Truth Social being basically his social network. There's really no upside to him using another one because the second people say, "Hey, Trump's back on Twitter," most people would just follow him on Twitter and they wouldn't even use Truth Social anymore. So it's almost like he would completely neuter his whole platform. And like, what happens to Truth Social once Donald Trump retires from politics? Right? It almost seems that it's going to get co-opted by some kind of slime ball. Like, it's not going to just go silently into the night. It's going to turn into a whole thing.
Yeah,
He's pretty big
go
on
on.
TikTok now too. No, go ahead.
Yeah, I just know that I was wondering if, remember in Operation Wall Street how I would say something and then 3 people around me would repeat it and then 10 people around them would repeat it and then 30 people around them would repeat it, and it was like a human megaphone. Do you guys remember this at all?
Mic check.
Vaguely.
Yeah. Yeah. So in a way, I feel like
Not
True
me.
Social's that. As long as there's enough, if there's 1,000 people around Trump that will yell out whatever it is, he never really, I guess, needs to go over. But if we all get directed on any one platform, it becomes very dangerous to us, especially if somebody's trying to create an everything app.
Yeah.
Where they want your PayPal and your, you know, your PayPal and your bank. Oh, you have
Your
a luck dragon.
social, your soul shell.
Yes. It's my multi-poo.
It's your social security, your soul shell.
My beer just got here.
Delivery.
Cats are the best. Is that a cat? Oh, it's a dog.
Cats are the best. We had a cat, and then we gave it a bath.
Cats are the
and
best, yeah.
She ran away, but she was.
I thought it was a cat for a
across the
second.
street. It was a multi-poo.
Yeah, cats are the best. Oh, that's cute.
He's
I can't
pretty
do
cute.
dogs, man. I don't know. I had a dog. I can't
This is
do
my
dogs.
first like small dog to own. I've lived with golden retrievers and stuff. I kind of am like a golden retriever myself. So
I like
yeah.
dogs, but I'd rather have cats. Cats are just.
Isn't it weird
my
that
God.
dogs are the opposite of cats?
Yeah.
Like,
they
how did
are.
that psyop happen?
Because cats are like.
I don't know.
Didn't we talk about it? Like how they resemble snakes.
Dogs are
in a
pretty
sense?
ancient though.
I wish there was a version of a cat that like always went outside, like never even needed to go inside. But then I also wish there was a version of a dog that could just like take care of it. So like you know like actually I think growing up I had a friend that they taught their cat to go onto the bathroom. Like it would go like I remember walking
On
in.
the toilet.
I'd walk in to use the bathroom. It's like, oh, sorry, I didn't realize it was occupied, and the cat's
Yeah.
like there doing its thing. It's the weirdest experience.
You can potty train your cats. They have like these little things that you put on a toilet that you eventually like just make smaller and smaller by removing the plates, and eventually you just remove that whole thing and just shit and pee in the toilet.
Right, but then like you have to use the bathroom, and you're sitting there waiting for the freaking cat to finish up.
Like,
I don't
hurry
know.
up, bro.
Weird, weird world. Yeah. Come on,
I
wrap
need
this
to
up.
pee.
Wrap this
Or
up.
it's rushing you?
Yeah,
My
Yeah,
cats just go
circling.
outside. Like I'm that person. I can't do litter boxes. They gross me out.
I am only having an outside cat if I have a farm. Otherwise, the teenagers can stay in the house. They're not working. They don't need to
Mine
run
does
amok around my
indoor,
neighborhood and get
outdoor.
hit by a car.
My
they don't
cat's
need to catch
indoors
the
most of
mice.
the time, but
Yeah.
Do you think that whatever trichinosis, what disease do
yeah. Toxoplasmosis.
do you think that's a psyop?
What is that?
It's okay. So pregnant ladies are not supposed. If you have a cat, they're not supposed to at all ever handle a litter box because some kind of parasite inside a cat's feces will basically crawl up inside your vagina and do something to your baby because it's called
I know what you're talking
toxoplasmosis.
about.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's really weird. Like, when does any kind of parasite just crawl up inside your vagina?
Every
And are you really
parasite?
handling? I'm just.
I
I
don't
know,
I
but I
mean,
mean,
every
wouldn't you have to like rub
single-
it on your vagina though? Like, am I taking a fucking little
I
kitty
mean-
litter scoop and like scratching myself down there or something? I'm not doing that.
Aren't sperm like kind of parasitic like things? Aren't they?
I don't.
Not the
They
best opening
Don't listen
line.
to Layla. She only thinks
They
about
could
parasites
My
and
ex said
pussy.
babies are
they
I'm
parasites.
just
do
saying.
invade. They do invade, and so yeah,
That's
I mean, there may be something to. There is something kind of parasitic to
they're
that, I guess.
parasitic-y.
But there's a thing like toxoplasmosis. It takes away your like inhibition a little bit, right? And it makes you extra in love with cats. Isn't that part of it?
Oh yeah.
Am I making this up?
I
Like
don't
it makes
care.
you
That's
Fucking love
enchanted
'em.
with cats. It
that's
makes
the
mice
first time I've
enchanted with
ever
cats.
heard about that. I do not know about that.
Dude, the
Um,
Trump bar. Oh, go ahead.
so you get a parasite, and it makes you like love cats.
Apparently that's a thing, yeah. So last night at this Trump bar, there was like a
That's
wall of cats that are waiting to be adopted. This is the first time I've been to this bar, and
Was your
everything
dream pool hall
up,
last night?
dude, it was so awesome. I passed this place so many times, a huge Trump 2024 sign. And I'm like, I'm gonna go in there one day. So I go in there. I'm like, oh my God, it smells like cigarettes. We could smoke in here. I was like, fucking freedom. I love this bar. I go inside, Trump flag, Trump, Trump cutouts, Trump. I mean, everything fucking Trump. I was like, oh my God. And they were unhinged at a flag at a beach. I was like, I gotta make a video. I made a video. I'm like, you were triggered? Get triggered, bitch. Trump, baby. Trump, Trump. It was so great.
Me and Layla were questioning if it was a psyop or not because they let her video, like both of our audience that we have on Instagram don't garnish the kind of like or garner the kind of like
all the way over
praise we got on these two separate. Mine was on RFK Jr. and hers was on a Trump flag. And I'm like, this feels like the psyop for some reason for the DNC. Like if I'm the DNC and want to take
Y'all
all
getting
the
an
air
echo?
out of the room, I RFK Jr.
Just making sure y'all weren't getting an echo. I have a friend, well, y'all's new friend. My wife is about to join us. She wanted to meet Chaney, and I mean, she is part of Gray Pilled.
Is that the one I like?
This one, it's this one. I have to sit on this
Your
side.
lap.
Oh,
Absolutely right.
could do that. We could do that, but this fucking chair.
No, I just really like this.
I have a
more.
mechanic
It's
stool.
just weird. This is a
I have a
better,
mechanic stool
better spot for me.
and a drum
Hello,
drone.
everyone.
Hi, welcome.
Welcome.
to the Secret Society of Good Guys.
How are you guys?
Wow, look at you.
You know,
Excellent.
I
Thomas.
would have
Say.
never
Yeah,
guessed.
look at you guys. You're all beautiful. Hello.
A
Oh,
blonde
thank you.
bombshell. And
Yeah.
you're beautiful.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, whatever.
I
Thank
can't
you.
even hear the head.
What do you have some favorite psyops
Favorite psyops.
or ones that woke you up or ones that are triggering you right now?
You know, I feel like my awakening began when my existential crisis began at like 12. But no one really around me quite understood what the fuck I was talking about. And I didn't really understand what I was talking about either. Until years later, when I read lots of literature from lots of philosophers, and I'm like, what the fuck? I figured this out when I was like 12. Like, what is it with you men? It took you like 30 years to figure this shit out.
Yo,
I already knew this when I was 12.
They're just talking about men.
I'm not hating on men. Look, I am
Oh,
not.
you're allowed
like,
to on here.
Yeah,
But
We speak the
thing is-
truth.
the
We
thing
love
is,
men.
Yeah,
But we gotta call them out.
Thomas is
We
on
gotta
here
call them out.
every week.
It's
so-
true. It's true. And look, I'm all for calling out women too. That's the
We know who
thing,
we
right?
are.
Like, I think that I don't like the gender war, right? Like, I don't like the men versus women thing because I think that both genders
Because you're
have-
losing it.
Do I?
No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
you just got knocked out
You think so?
Oh,
in your own sport.
that did happen. Are you talking about the Olympics?
Yeah. You guys
Yeah,
can't
well,
even
that's the
win at
thing.
being women.
So that's the thing. Like, there's no debating this, that men are the superior species physically. But there's
Yeah.
also no denying that as mothers, we have a sense that regardless of if we reproduce or not, we just have a sense that men don't have. It doesn't make us superior and make them less superior, vice versa, whatever. We're just different species. I saw a meme the other day and it was like, sorry, I've had a couple drinks. I might sound dumb tonight. But I'm not very dumb. It was
no, I like having a drink. It makes you like let it out, you know, sometimes.
It
It
does.
makes
It
Layla
does.
pull
It
her
does.
Glock out.
I try
and
to
Just
live
give me
up.
some
Okay,
tequila.
So wait, everyone, let me meet everyone. Tell me all of your names.
Hi, my name is Layla, and I go
Hi,
by
Layla.
God. Hi, welcome. So I go by Godpill Angel 333 on Instagram, and I just, you know, conspiracy theory, speak my
Awesome.
mind, you know, speak the
Yeah.
truth, you know, be authentic, and yeah,
Nice to meet you. I follow you on
yeah.
Instagram.
Oh,
I
you
love
do?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I gotta
Yeah,
follow
do
you back.
your content.
Do I follow you back? I don't even know. Like, I just
don't-
follow random
I don't use
people.
social media very often.
Oh,
I
okay,
like
cool.
it for like these purposes. I don't like it for certain other purposes.
Yeah,
If that
I
makes
feel
sense.
you. Well, welcome.
So tell me, everyone else, hello. I know you. I know Thomas and Chaney. I don't think we've met. And Abstract One. Tell me your name.
I'm Abbie.
Abby. Hey, Abby. Nice,
Nice
to
to
meet
meet
you.
you. And what was your name? I'm sorry.
Olivia.
Olivia. Okay. Jules.
I
and
didn't
Olivia.
put it on the
Nice to meet
thing.
you.
I should have put it on the name.
Oh, it's all
but,
good. That's fine.
You can
And
still
Abby
change
didn't
it.
say this, but she's an absolute badass.
Do what?
Thank you.
Yeah, she
This
is.
is Abby.
We'll show you.
I feel like I've seen you on something as well, and I follow Chaney as well. But I know that I've seen you on
You just
something.
watch this. Bro.
Oh, you're a badass.
Oh yeah. That,
I'm a
dude.
badass with a good ass.
You're a total badass.
I did mention that to her.
Oh yeah.
I was
that's-
gonna save that for one of my next
Nobody.
captions on my Instagram post, but I had to say it tonight.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
That's awesome.
That's
Abby.
really cool. My sister did a lot of that. She was the really athletic one growing up, so I have mad respect. That's really cool. It takes a lot of discipline that I don't have.
Yeah,
Our
what's the word I'm
audience
looking
is so
for?
funny.
Dedication.
Are there lots of people watching
Oh
this?
yeah, the chat.
I don't want to know the comments. I don't like comments.
She thinks.
Oh
People
no, they're cool in here.
her,
If they're
Chaney.
nice,
We have the best audience.
Yeah, we do. They're so awesome.
you know how it is on the internet. That's why I'm
No
so
one's
hesitant
gonna be
about
mean to
things.
you. No one's gonna be
Yeah,
mean.
nah, not here.
You know,
I already
people
told
are-
you.
people are
Fucking,
quite mean
we'll
to-
rip them another fucking asshole. Trust
They're
me.
usually mean to me first. That
Yeah.
is usually the way that it goes.
They can abuse me.
Well,
It's okay.
honestly, I feel as if I've gotten to a place in my life where I genuinely don't. I can like truly say that I give way little of a fuck than I used to. So, whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know,
It
So-
is
No-
giving
no
a fuck
fucks
is a
given.
psyop a little bit.
it's true. It's
Yeah, it is. It's a loosh of your energy. For one.
Well,
yeah.
it's
And
a
then
little
once
bit of
you
group.
experience like an ego death, then it's just kind of like, why the fuck does anybody really give a fuck, right?
Is it ego death or is it ego transcendence?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's a good way to put it. That's a
Yeah,
really good way to put it.
absolutely.
Yeah, because I think like Chaney put this in my head. Like I think we need our ego and we're like, oh, let's kill our ego. But I think transcending it is like I'm thinking about it because I'm like ego, and I have such an ego sometimes. I'm like, what the fuck, Layla? Like, just snap out of it. But you
Yeah.
have to accept it and like overcome that. So I guess transcend it.
you're-
Yeah.
I totally feel you. You're absolutely
Yeah.
right, because I think it's just part of the human condition. This whole idea, I got sucked into that for a long time. And I really haven't done psychedelics really since, I mean, it's been like 11 years since before I had my son. And but really I experienced an ego death more so during my second pregnancy, and weaning off of like all medications that I was on for years, which were helpful in some ways and harmful in some ways. And it was like, you know, it was helpful, but also quite harmful and like traumatic experience. And then just not being able to function for so long. That like, I mean, like full blown ego death. And I kind of came to that conclusion as well, that like this whole idea that people in the realm of like, oh, let's do psychedelics, let's experience ego death. Yeah, it's really wrong. It's not the answer. Because like, okay, you experience ego death, then what? You're still in a human form. It's like that quote from Jim Carrey where he's like, depression is just basically like you're sick of the persona you've created for yourself and you need to create a new one. Because regardless of what anyone says, we all create personas throughout our existence, right?
Because ego's a part of yourself and you don't want to fight yourself.
Right.
In that sense, you know? So like how do you communicate?
Your
with that
ego is
part of
necessary
yourself?
for motivation, I would say too, though. It's
Yeah,
a necessary part of you. Like it is what kind of keeps you grasping for bigger things. It is your intention, I would say, to an extent.
That's
Is it your aperture?
That's really a great way of
Yeah.
thinking about it too. Because I get so in this headspace of like, I don't want to live out of my ego, and like I've worked in the beauty industry for many years, and like I just got to a point where I had to, like, I fell into it because I was an artist and I loved, like, before makeup was like a, you know, trendy thing, and this whole like change like your actual features thing, you know, and like I loved Edie Sedgwick, I loved Twiggy, like, and so I'd do like the winged liner and stuff, like before it was cool. And I was like a receptionist at the salon, and people would come in and be like, oh, I like your makeup, like, can you do my makeup for this? And it was like kind of before the YouTube era. I was like 16, and so I started kind of doing freelance stuff, and then I worked at makeup counters and stuff, and I went to cosmetology school and I made a living that way. But like now I work at a barbershop, and a men's barbershop. I mean, we cut women's hair too if it's like a quick men's cut, but like mostly like I cut men's hair, and that's it. And people are like, what? Like you do hair and makeup for weddings, which I do very minimally now. I only do weddings here and there. But I think I got to this place where like I felt like the industry that I worked in was becoming toxic. I felt like it was projecting things on women that were, well, for one, that were unrealistic standards, and that also were like these just really weird, bizarre standards of like that everyone should look exactly the same, which to me is kind of bizarre, and like our different features are like beautiful, right? You know, like
Do you think learning contouring and TikTok has changed plastic surgery? Like, do you think less people? I'm asking. Do you think less people are getting?
Repeat your question. Hey, can you turn this light down? It's so bright, Jules. And chill.
And go get me a drink.
How high?
I know.
What do you guys think? Do you guys think?
Repeat what you said with contouring on TikTok? Is that what you
just
said?
Learning all the people that have learned how to contour
The trends.
and do all of these things with makeup. Do you think less people are feeling it necessity to get plastic surgery?
Maybe. I don't know.
It helps.
That's a good question. Or that's a good, I don't know. That's interesting.
It helps, I think. Because
I'm not hating on makeup. Like, obviously I wear makeup and all the things. I just started to feel like whenever I had people booking me for homecoming dances for like the 8th grade, and they wanted me to make them look like the Kardashians, and when I was done, they looked like they were my age. I just like morally like felt like I was doing something wrong, if that makes sense, because I was like, these are babies. They're in the 8th grade. And it's like great money, but like I became so convicted at some point that I was just like, I just feel like I started to feel so bad about it. And like, so people ask me all the time in the shop, they're like, oh, you do hair and makeup? Like, why are you working at a men's barbershop? And I'm like, because it's fucking simple. You know, I mean, I do like the skin fades and all the like snazzy stuff, but it's like, it's way more simple, and it's just like, well, men need haircuts, and I didn't feel like morally like I was
that industry
or negatively contributing to something that may or may not be good, or I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that industry definitely has changed from what I can see, and it's definitely a psyop and a rabbit hole that people should like understand, and how it works and how they get people to sell their product. And it could be the worst product ever. It could be harmful products. They don't give a shit as long as they're selling it, and who they choose to sell it, and how these people grow into fame, and then how they become into these elite fucking people out of nowhere. And It's
Yeah.
just mind-boggling within months. And it's just out of
Yeah.
nowhere. And I'm like, who are these people? Are they fucking like these little children who were conditioned and MK Ultra'd and put into our society? I'm like, look at how this person magically became famous. I'm like, is that even fucking real? Or are
Somebody's
you
asking
another fucking puppet?
if we're married. Yes, we've been married for almost 11 years.
Yes.
We've
We
known each other
have.
since we were like 12.
Someone
So-
said
Oh,
she has
that's
a Scarlett
awesome.
Johansson vibe. Are they talking about me? Stop. Are they're saying nice things about me? What?
Yeah, I'm telling you, our chat
audience
is fucking yeah.
They'll
Someone
I
said
had to
that
look
to me
this
the other
up.
day, and I love Scarlett Johansson. Have you guys seen Lost in
Talk
Translation?
to her.
Yes.
I love Lost in
Maybe.
Translation. That's my
Because you're on
natural
the show.
color is Scarlett Johansson. And Lost in-
ScarJo and her, like, I think ScarJo has such a great voice.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love her.
I don't even need to see ScarJo. I think her voice
I love her
is
and Lucy.
Yeah.
Lucy is a great movie.
See, Lucy.
Did you
ScarJo
guys
doesn't get
watch
enough
WandaVision?
shine.
Did you guys see WandaVision?
What one?
Which one?
WandaVision?
I haven't seen
WandaVision.
that yet.
Oh, you love it. Seriously, you have it. Oh, you guys will love it so much.
Y'all should watch it.
Oh, you'll love it.
I
not
like
like the
superhero
other-
movies.
So
Like,
good. It's a series.
shitty
It's on
Marvel
Disney
stuff.
Plus. Oh, I have a hair in my
What's
face.
this
Yeah.
psyop going on with the new Marvel movie
haven't
that
watched
came out?
We haven't watched
Since
anything since
WandaVision.
that.
I
Like,
just
that
didn't
came
love
out right
Captain
after
America.
Endgame and stuff. And I thought Infinity War was great, but I thought Endgame could have been better. But at the same time, it wasn't bad. But anything after that, I kind of was just like, this fucking sucks.
Well, I didn't
Yeah.
love. Okay, I don't want to be hateful. It was just the interactions I saw between the actors in the Marvel movies, Robert Downey Jr. and all of them. Which, by the way, something that's really interesting. I can't remember the specifics, but if you want to research it, you
Robert
can.
Downey Jr. was a black man once.
You're right. He was.
Yeah.
He was.
So there's I can't remember the specifics, but it's really interesting how he ended up playing Iron Man. Because I don't remember the specifics. You'd have to do the research. But something having to do with he had his I don't know, some kind of like heart condition and something. Anyways, he was made for that role. I really liked Iron Man, but what is her name? Is it Brit? No, what is her name? Brie, whatever.
Who are you
That's
talking about?
Captain Marvel.
Oh,
Brie Larson.
Brie Larson.
I don't-
Don't
I
be
don't like
hateful.
her.
Don't be hateful. All I'm saying is that the interactions between her and the rest of the Marvel cast were very negative, and the interviews are interesting to watch because it's like the whole
Watch
Marvel,
the Marvel
cast is
movies in
like-
timeline order, though. Like, have you watched them in timeline? Have you watched all the Marvel movies and TV shows in timeline?
I have.
order?
I have.
Yeah, we did.
Me too.
Yeah.
The Tesseract, like
Yeah.
the whole story of the Tesseract. is
Yeah,
pretty-
that shit was
Yeah.
so cool to do. I was like, oh, and it was right after I had gotten out of treatment.
Was it
too.
during COVID that we did that?
Yeah, it was,
like that time period.
was like
That's
a
when I
year
did it.
ago.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got into it, and our son was like the perfect age too to watch a lot of them with us. So it was like super fun.
What one do I like, Layla? What is it? The Immortals or the Eternals?
I think Eternals.
Eternals.
Yeah.
I didn't watch
I like
that.
Eternals because it's so law of one.
I
It's just a
love
little
it.
bit
That has all the
negative
kung
law of
fu
one.
in it,
but it's
right?
good.
Wait, what is is that a show?
It
It's the one with Angelina Jolie and
Oh, I love Angelina.
Selma Hayek, right?
It
Yeah.
has this. It's for people
watch it.
that are into esoteric or history at all. It does a loose enough job to like tease that side of me too in this Indiana Jones type way. And so it picks these very huge, almost some of them are religious, some of them, I guess they're all kind of religious relics in a way, and they all go to different parts of the world, but almost like they're the real story of the Anunnaki isn't that they try to get us to get gold for them. That's like stitching shit put on it. But in a weird way, it's almost like this is the story of the Anunnaki. Like they're here to help us, but they're only to draw energy because we give birth to the planet. Almost
Well,
like we're on an
It's
egg.
totally
used
law
to-
of one. That's what I loved about it.
They
I
also
think-
used us to carry out their bloodlines. Because in these ancient texts, they have these kings that ruled for hundreds, if not thousands, of years. And I have a show that I do called
Elohim etymology. Me and a buddy of mine, Adrian West, and we dive into these deities and who they were worshipped as over time, and it's fascinating to find out. Like, yeah, it's all interconnected. Like everything you read about, but it's basically this one pantheon. That's what I've come to.
What if it's like the movie Contact, okay? And the Nephilim or the Anunnaki are trying to contact us so we can create this technology so we can go into the multiverse realms. You guys remember that movie? How great it was, and like how certain scenes they show like the screens of her picking up this frequency and it sounds like a heartbeat, and it reminds me of the same graph as the Schumann resonance. And the Schumann resonance, they say it's like frequency being, you know, thrown at us, which is why I think they have HARP and the chemtrails into play, because they don't want us to receive that frequency that is being contacted by them through for us. So I feel like that movie is, I don't know, that movie I still can't forget to this day. It's so wonderful, and I feel like there's a lot of truth to that, and we're going through that right now.
I
Contact.
totally agree. Like that movie, I had that movie for years on DVD because I saw a UFO when I was like 17, and like a genuine, like legitimate UFO. And I didn't know what I was seeing.
We have
and
a
I'm
video.
like, is it a plane? Is it that? Okay, well, that was a newer one. I'm like, is it a
You
plane?
show
Is it
Chaney.
this? Is it that? What am I seeing? Like, because at that point in time, in my 17-year-old brain, I mean, I just
Excuse me.
excuse you.
Excuse me.
Like, I just didn't.
Excuse me, guys.
It wasn't something that existed in like any plausible reality to me yet, right? And so, like, when I saw what was like actually something that defied the laws of physics, it was like it just blew my mind, and then I became totally obsessed with the subject. And anyway, so long story short, my dad passed away 2 years ago, yesterday or the day before. And anyways, right before he
2
died,
days ago.
the last time I cut his hair, he was like, hey, have you seen that movie Contact? And I was like, you know, I was like, I bought that out of the $5 movie bin at Walmart, and I've meant to watch it for years because, like, I'm kind of obsessed with UFOs, and he knew this. And he's like, I watched it the other day, and he's like, you really need to watch it. He's like, you know, me and your brother watched it when he was.
Ooh, I got the chills right now.
And he's like, it's so good. You really need to watch it. Anyways, and then my dad dies unexpectedly, and I don't know, it'd been maybe 6 months or so, and I was thinking about it, and I was just feeling so drawn to watch that movie, and I never watched it before, and I started. That was one of the last conversations I had with my dad, and I had no idea that the movie is all about her and her dad, right?
Yeah.
And the whole movie was like just as if life is this orchestra that's like perfectly orchestrated in this beautiful way, and it was just all laid out in this perfect way for me to experience. And it was the whole movie was just like my dad was communicating with me through it. If that makes any possible sense.
Yeah, it was like
what are the chances, right?
I think like the word angel is angles, and the angles of like certain, you know, it's all interdimensional, and there's layers to this, and we can't see all the layers. And I feel like they're just us, or yes, souls, you know, that want to contact. And you know, they even show like, hey, this is the matrix, and this is the code to get past that. And if you know how to decipher this code, you can break through this fucking matrix and see what true reality is. And that's where she meets her father. And she's like, oh my God. And she was gone. And they say in religious texts, like 1 hour in heaven is like seconds over here, not milliseconds over here, you know? So it's just like, they were showing you that's how you can get to heaven if you know how to break out of the matrix. And I'm just like, I fucking love this movie. It's so great.
It is
so great.
I totally agree.
It doesn't get enough hype. It really doesn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so that idea to me, I think CERN is a psyop. And I think all the things with the Mandela effect, and we're trying to particle accelerate to find the God particle. I think it's all a psyop. I think what they're doing in CERN is more like Contact. But you have to see the movie to understand that something has to be going fast enough, and they couldn't do it without water. And that's why it kept falling
Right.
apart. And this is what I think something to do with the dams. There's these certain, I've been
And they're
looking
in
at
a certain place on
Because water
on
has
the
memory,
earth,
30,000
right?
of these particle accelerators, and they're all like these dams, these gravity dams. Like, I don't know. There's something with the water to me and what they're up to. So if you kind of look at like how that's spinning like a gyroscope, and then what's going on with CERN, they needed to move it down. It's like they're showing us, but it's too much, like whatever the density or gravity or whatever the pull is on it, it needed to be underground to get going that fast. So it didn't come apart or come up, or it's like they almost needed to put it underground and they could go faster. It's like
So,
to me, that's more what's happening. They're breaking dimensions.
yeah, I absolutely agree. And
It's not
that's
a
like for
particle.
me something
Yeah.
that I've learned through like learning about like spiritual warfare type ideas is like for me, I feel like I get, like we were talking about earlier, the ego. And I feel like I get at times learning about spiritual principles and just different things and kind of delving into learning about different religions, different religious texts, because I think every religion has pieces of the puzzle that are correct, right? And it's just a matter of like kind of deciphering what's the truth in each of these traditions, right? Like the Christians are so scared of pagan traditions, and the pagans did awful things like, I don't know, sacrificing babies, but they also understood the elementals. They understood these other things that Christians are scared of because they don't understand. And for me, my most reliable source in any of these topics is to just commune with the Holy Spirit. And I feel like that gives me this gift of discernment where I'm able to discern. And then also like the spirit of religion to me, like the spirit of, like, I think there's a spirit to religion as well. And I think people that identify as Christians get in this spirit of religion, of Christianity, of ritual religion, and this whole, hive mind collective of religion, and they kind of get so stuck in that they can't really, and then they get stuck in the spirit of fear.
Yeah, I
And
said that earlier. We were
really,
talking about that earlier.
earlier.
And
Of course y'all
yeah,
were. Of course
and we
y'all
were
were.
like,
Synchronicities lining up,
Even
Layla.
the child
oh,
sacrifice, that is
That's why I
even
brought
in
her
the
on.
Christian and Jewish faith. Abraham was going to sacrifice Isaac on the altar to God because God required it of him. So
right,
it's not just pagan.
right. Well,
yeah.
exactly.
Hey,
Well,
hey.
So
and
we were saying like how religion it shouldn't be the word that all these prophets preached a way of life, and we've turned it into legions of relying on legions, and it becomes
yeah,
culty, and it becomes
yeah,
it becomes a brainwash, it becomes a control instead of you being the direct source to connect with God, but you're putting a thing in between you and that source when you don't need that, because you are the vessel, you are the church, you are God matter, you made of that flesh, that clay, that whatever they say
right,
that we're made out of. It's you are it. So
yeah,
I feel like that's what each message, especially Jesus, we were talking about, like he had to have his own book that he wrote with
right,
his words, and they don't want us to have it, but they have other people speaking for these characters, when I know these characters were so intelligent that they had the capacity to write their own words
right.
on parchment. So it's like, where's the it's a psyop, it's
Well, in
culty,
another
it's
way,
controlled.
like we were talking about King James earlier, and so this whole Bible gets rewritten, and then a whole bunch of people decide like, fuck this noise, we're gonna take our OG Bible and we're gonna go over to a whole new country. And they're like Puritans, they just want to be pure with their religion. So even the idea though that
Sorry to interrupt. Are you
what
talking about when the King James version of the Bible was written?
yeah.
Okay,
And
sorry.
so there was just like people that wanted to stay pure with their
Redacted.
religion, and so they were just going to leave. But even the idea that whatever the Christians were back then couldn't coexist with people that would be into elemental ideas of thinking, or what would be, it's not pagan because it would have just been native to America.
They
but
were
they
Essenes.
they got along I think pretty peacefully. I think they actually warred together against the crown all the way up until about 1871, 1900. Like, I think it was always a battle. I think burning down the White House was a constant thing of getting that castle off their 50 states. Like, not having that property there was a big thing. And so I think that and a lot of other countries, France and Spain, and a lot of other countries came over to try to help us fight the crown at different times, or tried to help Louisiana fight the crown, or try to help Florida fight the crown. So I just, there's something about the religion that King James break is almost like Layla hates the Hadith because she's like, they're a rewrite of the Quran, or how the Talmud like rewrites things. It's like somewhere King James did that same thing to Christianity.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of having the direct words of these characters like Abraham, Adam, Jesus, we're getting versions of what people heard them say and writing it down. And I'm like, come on, where's his book? I know he has it. I know this character has it. I know this character has it, but they don't want us to have it.
It's like reading the CIA documents. It's all redacted. I mean, they redacted the women out of everything. Like, we do the whole lineage of Jesus. And we know that Jesus is not begat by Joseph. He is begat by the Holy Spirit. But we still have to have the patrilineal lineage. Like, that's so fucking weird. Why wouldn't they just do it all the way through Mary, which Mary was like of the tribe of Benjamin, but it's still fucking weird.
Yeah, that is so interesting. I never even thought about. Like, why would you put Joseph?
That's what I mean. Like, so when I go into the like the whole idea of like when I listen to what's her name, Marisa Acocella, when that resonated so hard with me, because we do the whole lineages and all they talk about is the men. You know, Adam begat, Seth begat, you know, whatever, all the way to Abraham, and like further on all the way down to Jesus. Like, the lineages are all the males, but then they say that that's important, so we know that Jesus was from the tribe of Benjamin. However, they did it through Joseph, and Joseph is not his fucking biological father according to the Bible.
He had to pay the child support though.
You talking about Jesus?
Can I just say something to the Muslim community? If you want to understand the Quran, I don't understand it, and nor do I claim to fucking understand it. But in order for you to understand completely, clearly, the Quran and what to do, because it's not supposed to be a fucking ritual. It's supposed to be a way of life. Okay, just like be a good human, and this is how to do it. Okay, not drink camel urine. Okay, thank you very much. It's a way of life, and you need to understand the Quran by learning what the lexicon is, the Arabic lexicon, and learn what these meanings of these words mean, because a lot of these scholars have twisted the English versions, and people are not using the right words, like hijab, for instance. It's not in the Quran, nowhere in the Quran, but everyone's trying to be different, and they cover themselves in the Quran, in these cloths made in a tailor, specially just to say I'm a Muslim. And we're not supposed to do that. We're not supposed to be different. We're supposed to be humans and not be different from one another.
What is the like religious reason for that? Because my brother's like traveled the world a lot, and he told me like basically
it's hadiths. It's not in the Quran.
He told
in the
me
Quran,
like, at this point in time, women wear them because if they don't, they will just like get raped in the street.
Won't
in a
the
lot of
angels
these
come down and
countries in the
snatch them
Middle
up?
East.
No, you see, this is all hadith talk. Is all it's I can't stand these books. They have perverted the religion completely, and I can pull up the verse completely and how it states it, and it says to be modest, and things that are apparent are okay, like how you dress normally and your brother, in front of your father, in front of your loved ones. That's how you should be dressing, because there's weirdos out there. Don't go out like a slut. Just cover your adornments. It doesn't specifically say cover your head. It
Right.
doesn't say that. And it's like, where are you getting these definitions from? So they go to the hadiths written 250 years after the Prophet Muhammad died. And they're saying Muhammad said these things, but it's coming from people who are not even chosen by God at all, not mentioned in the Quran at all. And they if you read the Quran, it's actually a beautiful book. I'm not saying you should, but it's actually a wonderful read. It's not a scary book at all. I was scared of my own like book. But anyway, I learned that a lot of these things that they practice today comes from the hadiths and it's not from the Quran. And then they say, oh, but how are you supposed to pray? How you're da da da. Maybe you're not supposed to pray in the way that you're doing things right now because it's all ritualistic. And maybe God was teaching you that you are the vessel. You don't need any of these places, that you are the Mecca, you are the church, you are the temple, that you
Right.
can connect directly with God. And that's what was Jesus's message, Moses's message, Abraham's, Adam's. That's what they were preaching, a way of life, not to be divided, to love each other.
Yeah.
That is it, a way of life, not death.
Right.
But they divided all three of these major religions of billions of people who believe in it so they can fight each other. But they come from the same
Well,
system.
So going
Yeah.
back to the whole psyop of it all, I feel like there's been so much lately divisiveness over race. Like we're seeing a lot of cops hurting people, like did you see the one the other day where the black man gets arrested and there's a black cop, but it's not the black cop who arrested him, it's the white cop, and he's got him in handcuffs, and then for no reason he just fucking punches him in the face. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it's like
They
all
did
of a
that
sudden
when they arrested him 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And he's white.
2 years
And one of the
ago,
times it was a black cop.
but
Just
we're
saying.
playing up they're playing
I
up
said
the
many-
race
sorry, I meant many
thing right
years.
now. I feel like it is a
Eight
psyop. It's
years ago.
to create the divisiveness because we have a
But yeah,
black
the-
candidate running. So
right. Yeah. Well, they specifically, show these stories, and it's important. I mean, it is important for all of us to be aware of what's
yes,
happening.
absolutely.
But simultaneously, there are lots of things that are happening that we aren't aware of, and that the news media doesn't cover at all. And I won't get into much detail, but like there was something that happened in my own personal family. And there are hate crimes that are committed. This is all I can say right now legally. There are hate crimes that are committed that aren't even charged as hate crimes because they're committed towards a certain race. That's all I'll say.
Oh, it happens.
But one of the crazy ones I saw the other day was the cop when the woman, I don't know, she had like boiling water on the stove, and the cop just comes and she says to him, I rebuke you
about that on
in the
Schizo.
name of Jesus Christ, and he just murders her. It's like she could sense this demon that was within this man that she was speaking to, and she rebukes him, and he just shoots her in the face.
And he may
because
have
why?
been a piece
Because
of
she
shit
had
too. The
clearly.
way- I don't know if you've seen the body cam footage, but he's just like
I can't watch.
he's
I
trying
can't
to
put all that in my
justify why he
consciousness.
shot her. And
Okay, there's no
It's
justification
weak.
there.
It's very weak of him.
What I will say
And
simultaneously
can
is
say.
that there's no justification for that. But I'll say
Not at all.
also that a lot of cops are former military. And I think anytime anyone is interacting with a cop, they need to
PTSD.
know that they're interacting with someone that probably has severe PTSD, and they should be very, very aware and careful. But I also think maybe we shouldn't be hiring former military as our police.
But it's even goes further than that though, because I know cops that are not former military, and for instance, my friend, he got called out to a house and the woman had killed her baby, and so he's there. He sees his dead infant, and he knows that this baby's been murdered, and he's like fucked up from it, right? But he has to go back to work the next day. They don't offer him counseling, none of that. Like he has to go and do his job the next day, and it's like
No.
like they have these crazy things that happen in the line of work, and there's no justification for ever freaking profiling somebody for race or whatever. Just
Right.
But I'm just saying that I don't think that, like, if a shooting or something happened at a school, every person there would be offered counseling or a lot of other jobs.
Yeah,
It's like
absolutely.
it's not happening with cops.
Absolutely.
Part of
Absolutely.
it
Back
is
to the
they
grind.
want us all to hate cops, and I
Yeah, I do
The Thin
think
Blue
so.
Line is a
I
gang
don't like 'em.
organization, and cops to me are like, oof, y'all. You can listen to past episodes.
Yeah,
Well, the
right.
thing is
Fuck
that
the
the
police.
type
They want
of
us all to hate
personality that's
cops
motivated to become a police
so
officer.
that we privatize the police
mostly-
departments. This
Yeah.
is why
Sorry,
they
what'd you
want
say?
it. They want us all to hate cops so we vote in privatizing the police departments, because then they'll be run by like Amazon, or then they'll be run by Starlink X cops on the street, computer cops, but then there's no habeas
China.
corpus if it's run by a private company.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
totally lose like whatever your state's constitution is, dependent on who's
I feel
running
like we're
it.
so
Speaking
far
of
removed from
China,
that anyways, though, because the opposite version of that would be what they would used to call like community policing, where like like you would know your mailman, you would know your cop. But we're so far from that even if the cops that are coming to beat me live in my neighborhood, like we're so far removed from them, it doesn't matter if they live in my neighborhood or live in my county, or if they bust them in from basically Mexico and just told them to arrest me.
Yeah. Well,
speaking
there's
of
much
China,
lower
oh,
crime rates in places where people are able to open carry. Like I think Arizona is one of the states, right? Because I don't know. I was talking to
Oklahoma
a
is.
client that moved here recently. I
We
think
were
it was
talking to my
Arizona,
friend Ash,
and they're allowed to have they
from
open
Horseshoe
carry
City.
going
Florida is right.
Oh,
anywhere,
you
and
can
they have
conceal carry here too,
like.
without a license.
Sorry, what'd you say?
You
Is
can
Florida
conceal
open
carry in
carry yet?
Oklahoma.
Okay.
This is an
You can
interesting
conceal
psyop.
carry in Oklahoma.
Without a license. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I have very conflicted ideas about it because I mean, I just think we're at a point in our society where it's like, if you try to limit, like I understand, like, yeah, it shouldn't be easy for some psychopath to go and buy a bunch of guns, but simultaneously, like criminals are going to get guns either way. It's like too little, too late. I don't know.
Bring back the neighborhood watch.
I'm trying to be a politician, so
There is a lot of neighborhood watches, but I think more communities should have neighborhood watches. Like a bunch of dads walking around the neighborhood with flashlights and bats, and a bunch of moms with. Yeah, I just think it should happen.
That's what my dad was like.
I'd do
The rental properties he owned when he went there.
Watch.
I mean, he like at my dad's funeral, I can't even tell you how many African American people showed up that only knew him because of the rental properties he owned, because of the good he did in the community that he owned. He owned 2 homes for about 40 years in a certain area in Little Rock, and I mean, there were so many people at his funeral that I had never met, and the stories they told me were amazing. I mean, I'd heard some of the stories before, but because after the BLM movement, the police were defunded and they really pulled out of that area, and so then the homicide rates doubled within about a year, and then my father was also a victim of that, trajectory. But the man that killed him didn't realize he was an ally, not the enemy, because his skin was white. And it was really beautiful, the stories that I was told. I mean, just like a guy that lived a couple houses down, that he knew all the neighbors really well, and sorry, I probably shouldn't be talking about all these details at this point. I don't fucking care, because it's been 2 years and the justice system is so broken, and I've gotten to a place where I'm just like,
She even wrote a letter to the governor.
I know that justice will be served, whatever. For me to have peace, for my family to have peace, the guy that murdered my dad, he's in custody. He's going to go to prison. They have an insurmountable amount of evidence against him. It's going to be a fucking plea deal. It's not going to be a trial, whatever. I probably should not be drinking on a public,
but somewhere else separate from that,
make the statements I choose to make in the future. Sorry, what'd you say?
It's like the media amped up BLM, this Marxist group, and made it this whole dangerous powder keg that they participated in all of that. And it's so destructive how many people lost lives and businesses, and through this like And pretty much we were talking about Kyle Rittenhouse earlier. That is all right up in that psyop that we all had to live through. And it makes me like disgusted. Like we talk about this stuff all the time and we're all affected by these different psyops on different levels. But
Yeah.
like, I'm sorry that you lost your dad in one.
Thank
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's terrible.
I mean,
And-
again, I probably shouldn't be talking about it in depth right now, but at the same time, I don't feel as if anything I'm talking about affects the trial because it was, again, it was a hate crime. It won't be charged as such, but it was. There's plenty of evidence to prove so. And, you know, I'm just kind of in a place now where I thought, you know, once we get justice, then I'd have peace. And now I think I've kind of realized that, I don't know. I don't think that's what will bring me peace. I think what will bring me peace is strategically planning how I will tell the story of who my dad was. Like, for example, after the police force kind of pulled out of that area, one of the neighbors, his car was stolen and the police wouldn't show up. They wouldn't help him. And my dad was over there working on one of his rental properties. So the guy had a GPS tracker in his car and my dad drove him to find his car. And I mean, I know the guy that killed my dad. He was like, who is this white man in this nice truck in my neighborhood? And he stalked him for a couple days prior. And I wanted to be careful about speaking about it openly because I kind of knew that, well, I knew it was the kind of story that I could easily like blow up and get on all the conservative pundits podcasts and all the things, but I'm like, what would my father want? You know, my father wouldn't want to cause further division, and my father wouldn't want his legacy to be you know, this continuance of this like racist back and forth bullshit. Rather, I think that when I do give my impact statement to the courts and to the man that murdered him and all of the things, I think that the most powerful message is just for him and the neighborhood that he grew up in and his community to understand that he killed someone that was an ally, not an enemy, and he judged my father because of the color of his skin and assumed he was an enemy and didn't know that he had mentored children in the neighborhood like most of their lives as they rode their bikes by and asked my dad for money, and he, you know, paid them to bag up leaves and mentored them and taught them about how they could better their lives and that they could do anything they set their mind to and all the things. And anyway, sorry, I should stop talking about this because the trial isn't over, but the justice system's so fucked. Again, it's been 2 years, so whatever. If anyone in the future, anything I do in the future, if you want to judge me for talking about this on this podcast while drinking beer on a podcast, so be it.
I drink tequila on a podcast. Trust me, you're fine.
Yeah,
you're
I
fine.
just don't care anymore. I don't.
smoke like
I
14 joints.
tried to tell her it's fine.
That's what Alex
Here's-
Jones does. As
But
long
you
as
know what it
you
is. You know what it's
smoke or
like. I mean,
drink
it's
on
like
air,
do what? What'd you
interdimensional
say?
space demons.
Sorry, what?
Here's-
Repeat yourself.
As long as you smoke or drink on air, you can talk about interdimensional space demons, and it's fine because you only said that when you were drunk. They can't hold. You're like, you saw me smoking on air.
Do you want to
That-
know
that's
an
actually a great
interesting
strategy.
psyop that I heard today?
Yes.
So there's
Wait.
this Chinese man who came to Mar-a-Lago with fucking evidence of the assassination attempt and all these shits, and he's not the first person who was arrested. He was fucking arrested and he's being charged, and he's no bond, no nothing. He's not allowed to speak to anyone that is affiliated with the Trump family, the Trump campaign, anything Trump. You
Yeah.
know him, can't talk to him. That guy today. And Trump wasn't there, but he had evidence and he was at Mar-a-Lago and he was trying to get in and like, oh my God, like some big shit happened. And I don't know what's going on with that, but this is some like big shit. And it's a Chinese man. And they made that very clear as a
Really?
Chinese man. Yeah. And he wanted to spill some beans about something. And I think it was more than just a fucking assassination and more like future attempts to
I
come.
can spill some beans about it.
I mean, I'd love to.
Client today that Okay, I can't say too much. All I will say is that I work with lots of people. So the city we live in is like one of the or at a point in time was one of the top 10 cities to raise children in America.
At a point in time.
It probably still is.
No, it isn't. I looked it up.
It's not?
It's not.
I'd say it's up there. People constantly move to where we live.
It's not anymore.
Because the cost of living is very
Top
low.
20.
And
Top 20.
if you have
it's a great
money
place, though.
You wouldn't be considered rich in California, but you'd be considered rich here. So
we're
at
Biden
the barbershop,
rich.
Hold on. This is making my contacts dry. The barbershop that
We
I
need
work
that
at,
fan. That fan is our life force.
My contacts,
It's over with.
my contacts are so dry.
Does anyone else want chicken fingers?
Do what?
I want a honey butter chicken biscuit. That's what I
That
want.
sounds so good.
That sounds
Oh my gosh, Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit.
Nah, Whataburger. What are you talking about?
Is
don't have a
Denny's open right now?
Dude, we got one dude.
Whataburger.
Okay, so what was I just saying? I forgot. Oh, I had a client.
Go
Okay,
get some
so
Whataburger.
we have so many random people that move here, and it's so funny because I'm like, I grew up here. It fucking sucks. I mean, it does, but it does. It's a great place to raise children, but I'm like, But these
I grew up
people-
here. It's a great
ass
place to
neighborhood.
raise
I grew up in
kids.
the middle of Jackson, bro. I don't want to hear it.
But my dad didn't. My dad was completely self-made. My dad started working when he was 6. He started
That
throwing a
was the
newspaper
50s.
route.
Every man.
I
had
don't
a
care.
job
Your
when
dad
they
was a
were
trust fund
6.
kid. Okay. And then I'm sorry, you grew up in the hood.
Dang, your dad just got
self-made
called
and
out.
laughed his ass off.
Shots fired.
Nepotism daddy.
I'm fucking with you.
No,
Okay, no,
it's
listen.
okay.
So
everything you're saying has absolute 100% truth to it.
Okay, listen. So
So,
I have these random people
yeah.
that have recently moved here, and they're all like, "Oh, we love it so much here. It's so cool." Blah blah blah. And there's just a ridiculous amount of money in this town, so everybody just is super bougie. To me, I go out in public, and I'm just like, I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like all these people are just like peacocks when they put their feathers out.
What's it called?
That's what it looks like to me. I'm just like, oh, what do you
Preening?
do? Oh, how much
Preening
money do you
or-
make? Congratulations.
What is that called?
I thought it was just called peacocking.
Peacocking. I thought that was a
Yeah,
good.
it's just called peacocking.
That's all that happens here, and I guess mostly in America. Anyways, but
Peacocking.
so I have a couple of clients that have worked for the Secret Service, and I talked to. Okay, I don't want to say too much. Anyways, I talked to someone today.
Wait.
What I'll say I'll hear it later.
Who you
What I-
know in the Secret Service?
I have I have clients that
Whistleblower.
come to the
Whistleblower.
Stop! That come to the shop that I work at. Stop. This just needs to stay on this podcast. All I'll say is that
Where's it going?
Stop. All I'll say is I received a bit of intel from someone that works in intelligence today that the initial detail was pulled off that day and a different detail was put on. That's all I'll say. And that's from someone that works for intelligence.
that?
Probably true.
I think that's true.
It's
Dude,
definitely
what
true.
I think I've heard that too.
Being like,
Because they were not professional.
I got some.
No, I've cut
I
this
got
dude's hair
some
for a
info
very
about
long
this.
time.
You probably were like, "Oh, my husband has a conspiracy podcast."
Honestly,
Oh.
it makes sense because if you see if you see how they protect or try to attempt to protect Trump, it was a shit show. They were not professional at all.
Oh,
That
yeah,
was
they were
definitely
That's exactly what this guy was implying without saying too much. Is he was saying, look, their initial
How'd he
detail
say
was
it?
pulled off. They put a different detail on. And so I was like, oh, so what you're saying is there was a crazy person that was trying to assassinate Trump, and they essentially pulled back to try to allow it to happen. And he was basically just without saying yes, was just
well, yeah, because they also have footage of them escorting that individual that they put plastered all over the TV. They have video evidence of them literally walking him, before this even happened. It was all pre-planned. Oh yeah, absolutely. I have the video.
I believe it.
I have the video. I'm like, what the fuck?
This is
I know if
another
I post
reason
that,
why-
I'm getting banned.
You know, remember
I,
when
I was
Can you
thinking
privately
that this
send it
may
to me?
be a
Please.
psyop.
don't you think a little bit of Trump being like, oh, I hope they keep TikTok? Don't you think a lot of the way those videos are getting out and so viral, it's like some
From
way,
TikTok?
whatever the algorithm is, it's like
Yeah.
TikTok algorithm beats Instagram's algorithm beats X's algorithm beats where
Yep.
it just flames something out. Because I'll
Yeah.
release something and I can tell by the wording that I put in it, I'll get 0 views. I'll send it to people I know. I just want them to click the link just because I'm like 0 views? 0? My mom didn't even click on
Like
it.
how?
My mom doesn't follow any of my accounts.
Yeah, I know. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
And I
My mom
definitely feel
does.
like that's a component
mom
of why
follows
they want
one.
to shut down TikTok is because I mean, for me personally, I'm just like, I mean, every rabbit hole I've already gone down, like going down it on TikTok, I'm just like, fuck, I know it all now. Like anything, the multiverse, near-death experiences, reincarnate, anything. If you want to figure it out, TikTok's the way, but it's also a way to like rot your fucking brain.
That's not the way.
And I just think that I mean, well, I'm not saying I just believe anything I see or hear. I'm highly
I think
skeptical.
That's misinformation. I think
You think
it-
every
I think you
possible
need-
video that is
you
ever seen
need-
on TikTok is misinformation. No,
It's,
I have
it's
a
a
I have a
whole. It's like the game of telephone, but
yeah,
with like
of course, but
100
I have a
different
pretty
games of
strong
telephone.
intuition and a pretty strong gift of discernment, so I can kind of sense when people are bullshitting.
Do you see
What
my
I will
shirt?
say is that that everything is a psyop.
Everything.
What I will say is that
So
I think information
your
gets out there
your
much
little
easier
information.
through TikTok, and I think that's not beneficial to the
Some things may be
cabal
real,
that
guys.
runs everything. I agree. Whoever said brain rot app, I completely agree. I can't with TikTok too. ADHD there.
I can't. I like TikTok and how quick I can edit something on it, but I do feel like out of every
Real
app,
wire guy.
I'm the most shadow
know
banned
real-
on that app over anything.
On
From-
TikTok?
Yeah, I lose more accounts. I get
Short
lose.
form content is Nephilim. Yeah, I totally agree with that too. I think
Real ride
everybody's
or die.
brain is just so fucked that they're just short reels to
TLC?
scroll, and it's not the way.
Yeah, China talk.
I think what's crazy is
love it
how
with the compound
useful
neural
these platforms could be. Like if there was a concerted effort to make it so that positive and helpful content was the only, or like that was how you tickled the algorithm. Like
Yeah.
it could literally be a
Couple
game
more
changer
people
for
aren't
humanity worldwide, but we just don't. We're never gonna get that.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
Good
couldn't agree more.
morning.
Have you seen that video where I don't know what talk show it is, but Melania Trump is sitting there and everybody, it's like the whole Trump family's being interviewed and she's like, hello. And everyone's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Morning.
That's
I
what
remember
felt like
that.
good morning was like.
I haven't seen it. I'd love to see it.
I know. I would pull it up, but I'm like, oh, I'm lazy. It's at the end. It's at the
Yeah.
end. You
It's the
guys
2
can't
hour
see
mark.
it. I'm gonna try to follow it. Melania. I'm gonna put in Melania. Hello.
Joel's dad really doesn't like Trump.
I thought that was also Pelosi too.
I'm gonna listen, so we don't need to talk about
My
that.
dad
Pelosi
made-
had a moment like that.
Oh, Pelosi's was like,
Hello, good morning. Yeah.
To be honest with you, who gives a shit if he?
That light makes my contact
So, Jules and Olivia, we have questions for you since this is your first time on Secret Society of Good Guys. Would you fuck your clone?
Oh, baby, you answer first.
Oh gosh, do I have to answer?
Yes, you do.
I've never thought about it.
Can I answer?
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would fuck my clone and more.
Do you think you would also
fuck
be
my
a good
clone, too.
president?
So-
Do you
Would I
think you'd
be
be
a
a
good
good president? Yeah.
Absolutely not.
I thought it was about to be. Were
Very
you in the
busted.
study that we
Absolutely.
think clone fuckers
But,
would
but I
also
would
want to be
try,
president?
and I would die trying.
Would you want to be the president?
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't.
There it is.
Clone fuckers want to be president.
You would not want to be president.
Would you fuck your clone, Olivia?
Like, what are you doing? You're fucking it up.
Oh, I'd be dead. First day president, I'd just be dead.
Don't
probably.
curse yourself. You can't speak things.
I'm
like
not
that.
gonna be the president.
I know, but we don't say things like that out loud. Words are power.
Olivia, would you fuck your clone?
Yeah.
Presidential material here.
Presidential material, vice president, right there.
Man, more so than a woman, I guess maybe more.
I would
interested in
fuck
it.
her clone. And
Would you be jealous if he fucked your clone?
no, because she would get in on it. I'd put my thumb in her ass.
Why the fuck not?
One of my best friends is a twin, and she moved in with her twin sister and her twin sister's husband. And me and Jules were always like, "Is that?" So I was like, "Is that weird?" Like, I wonder if it's weird for him.
It's very weird.
It's got to be weird. I mean, it's like two of his wife, his fine
very
ass,
big house.
like Latina
I
wife.
can tell the difference of my twin friends, like
Oh, me
so
too.
differently. I don't even think it's
so
like for me, they're so different. And I know they're mirror twins or identical twins, but to me, they're just totally different.
I have a theory about identical twins and just this whole thing. I've had multiple clients whose makeup I've done, like doing wedding parties for like bridesmaids and stuff that were identical twins, same DNA, and they look completely different. No makeup on, completely different. And
It'd be okay.
every time they told me 3 different times this has occurred, and they told me that basically they decided at a point in time they wanted to be really different. And I think that idea that I think they embodied that idea. And because of, and then they both would have completely different friend groups. And then they essentially grew up to look very different from each other. They no longer looked identical DNA. They did not look identical anymore. I did both their makeup. They did not look identical. Their features were actually different.
I believe
nose, lips, everything. And these were
because if they
girls.
started to eat different, think of how many twins that they're like, we're gonna dress the same and eat the same and hang out, and we're your friend with a twin, and all of a sudden both twins have to stay the night at your house. You're like, what the fuck? I don't want to hang out with your silly sister.
Well, even in the Marilyn Monroe of it all, because Marilyn Monroe would walk out into the street and nobody would recognize her as Marilyn Monroe, but then she'd just fluff up her hair and then she'd change her body language, and all of a sudden they recognized her.
She turns it on.
Yeah, she turns it on. So it's the same
That
thing.
MK Ultra trigger. That
Well, you can decide to be invisible. If it's one of your superpowers, everybody, just so you know, if it's one of your superpowers out there that usually it's for muses. Muses can also be invisible. But when they are invisible, they're heavier in their own weight. But it is something, invisibility is just a thing.
Weird. That's so interesting that you say that.
It's all you just decide when
That's
you want to
gonna
be seen.
your comic book character, Chaney.
You just decide when you want to be seen. or
Wait,
not.
what did you say?
I don't. I know. I always thought invisibility would be a bullshit superpower.
Oh, it's a
Because you have
badass
to take off
superpower.
your fucking clothes every time.
Yeah, that would suck.
Bullshit.
But it's
You
the
always-
same as being like aware. You'd have to take off your clothes too, really.
No.
Yeah, but
it's
you
like
could
when
at least
I
put
cut
them
men's
somewhere,
hair.
like in the woods, and get them later. I just feel like nakedness. You're like, oh, let me put these in a locker, and then you're just carrying your little stack
Yeah,
of
you ain't
clothes.
even got any fur.
I
keep
cut
you warm.
men's hair, and I had a revelation recently because I'm like, why do I make less tips than my coworkers sometimes? And I'm like,
You're not a whore.
don't say that. None of my coworkers are whores. It's that
None of her
I say too
coworkers
much.
are
I have
whores.
to act dumb. I have to create a persona, but it's so hard for me to be inauthentic because I feel like I'm going against my moral code. So when people ask me things, I'm like, I'm going to be authentic. I'm going to be real with them. And so recently I was just like, you know what? New clients I have, I'm just going to create a different persona. But it's very difficult for me to do, but I'll just be like, oh, hi, how are you? Oh,
Just
I don't know. I'm dumb.
a different altar.
And I get more tips though if I act dumb. I think if I'm like my true self, it bruises their male egos and they tip me less. Kid you not.
Or you
That makes sense.
dominatrix.
Do I?
That's I was like similar to this. And I was a bartender in a bar and I made great money, but I was just like mean in a nice way.
But wait, say the last
I was
part.
mean in a nice way, but some of
Yeah.
them asked for it, and I was like, "You
Yeah.
want me to be dom to you? I'll be your daddy." In
Dude,
this way,
yeah.
to certain dudes that they were straight men, and I also like it was a little bit femmer lean in my life than right in this moment, but I just felt like, oh, you want me to be a little bit of a bitch? I will. But it was always like with a smile on my face that like, you little motherfucker, like you're going to test me. But they liked it and I kind of liked it. And it just felt like it was the dance that worked for us.
That makes so much sense because one of my best friends that I work with is a bartender. And like, I so see like clientele that she has that she knew also from the bar that like, they so get off on that energy from her. And I'm just like, like, how do you do that? Because like, I've gotten to this place in my life where like, I don't know, it's hard for me to like play a role or like do something that I feel like is inauthentic.
See, I can't be offended if I can lean into, they're like, Chaney, what would it take? What would be the night that you're going to finally come home with me? These are real things that I would get from
something
mine.
a client said to me and he was so offended. I was like, look, that is like so like G-rated compared to things that men could say to women in an old men's barbershop. Like my clients genuinely respect me. But like every now and then, of course, I'll get some kind of like
Heart
joke.
of Aries loves dumb chicks and thinks you should totally lean into this.
I love dumb chicks.
Yeah.
Okay, so good advice. So another one of my coworkers that's a guy was like, just talk less and push your tits up. Like you'll make more tips. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like that's so fucked up. Like why? And he's like, trust me. And I'm just like, God, I can't stand
Just talk
Olivia
less.
person. Like Jules, somebody can't stand me. Look. I'm so glad you can't stand me. I love you too. Do you want to see my tits? You're welcome. Sorry.
Secret
Oh, did
Society
you
of
just feel
Good
like the
Guys.
super chats blowing up?
Yeah.
He has to go back to work tomorrow, brother. Look at these comments.
Nah, she doesn't have to work. We're actually off all week.
Just the devastated.
Yeah. That's how it was on Schizo, except no one.
We just let our audience go for a minute. We're like, we just watch them because we know it takes a couple of seconds for them to get the visual that we had.
Guys,
Let's see who's.
it'd be a little different if we already had
Corey
been
Tom,
married
let's
for
have a
11
convo.
years.
Why can't you stand
It's fine.
me?
We've had ladies sit on the show in lingerie.
Babies into her.
It's fine.
And mark my
Set
territory.
your boobs on
You
their
dig?
head when you're cutting hair.
So.
Okay. But this is the thing, though. I've been married for 11 years. I don't want to be disrespectful to my husband.
That's attractive.
I'm just like that's part of it. Is like I'm.
There's
being
not enough
respectful
big
to my
ups
husband. I don't want
done to
seem
that.
Like I'm this
Just-
approachable. Wait, hold
Yeah.
on. Thanks, Olivia. I'll timestamp that for I don't know what that means, but
They're gonna put a timestamp when your boobs were. Oh, look, and
Send it to
me.
Super chat from Jay Dreamers.
For my tits.
Yeah.
You're welcome. No, so I've been married for 11
That's
years.
almost half a month of our new X platform.
Thanks, Jay. Love
Why
you.
aren't you commenting anymore? Can we please have a convo here since you can't stand me so much?
She was waiting for this.
I was. Let's have a convo.
Why'd you do this,
What was your
dude?
name? What was your
Who are
Hold
you?
on.
Fuck you,
Hold
man.
on.
Like, why, bro?
Who can't? Corey Tom. Let's have a convo, Corey Tom. How are you
What's
today?
happening?
How's your day been? No one's put their tits in your face, have they?
Oh no.
There we go.
There's There's another timestamp for
It's
Corey
amazing that just happened. They haven't even seen
This
it
is
yet.
so funny.
They haven't seen it yet.
Do you
That is
all read these
because
comments the whole
Jay is a powerful magician.
Like they would be tough jobs.
I have to light a joint.
Hold on. You're going.
I'm proud of her for falling out the chair and just getting back up and saying, "There's another timestamp for you."
I don't know was it
I'm fucking dying.
Corey J? You still there?
She really likes you,
can't
Corey
stand me. I
J.
really want to talk to you.
Corey J. Chaney, what
Corey J.
what we turn
Let's
this into?
let's have a chat.
Real.
No, this is
ride or
really what
die
should happen right now. Everybody in the audience.
Friend of mine.
No, everyone in the audience for real that loves Olivia, shout her out so she doesn't even have to pay attention
I
to
don't care at this point.
somebody else.
Go thumbs up, everybody.
Never,
Hit the like.
I've never
loves
done
y'all.
anything.
Give her a heart and a
all of
thumbs
y'all.
up so she doesn't have to worry
Guys,
about
we love y'all
Corey.
too. If you
But
love it,
Corey,
Also, can you move all this so this doesn't make me fall over anymore? All this on the floor.
You're sitting on a mechanic stool. Move your
It's not my seat, it's yours
Baby,
that
just
you set up
move
for
it.
me.
Just move it over.
No, move all the stuff you have under it.
Move your seat.
Well, why did you have stuff? under
Imagine being on a road trip.
There is a section under the seat where you can set an oil
Calm
pan,
down.
you can set some pliers, you can set a drill.
That's great,
You
Julian.
can set a rag, multiple rags.
You're such a
gloves.
man.
We're in my garage, guys. Hey,
those
Yeah.
chairs, those little rolly stools, for what it's worth, are tricky.
Hold on. I heard the close your
They're tricky. Like I used to weld on one.
That was beautifully done with grace. Falling off this rolly stool. You know what? It's not my rolly stool, and it's not my fault I fell out of it.
if she was
Oh, shit.
like fake
Okay.
ass bitch, and she would have just like cried
Oh, we topped that.
and ran out of
I
here.
just don't care, actually, though.
It's fine.
I just wish that who was it
We're
again?
having a good time,
What
Chaney.
was his name again?
So thank you for
Jay?
having us here, man. Like,
Who was it again?
so
Yeah, you don't. Who cares about
Corey.
him? He already left.
It was Corey.
Chaney,
Fuck
how?
with me, please.
Hey, calm down, Jesus.
Please.
Hey, so how late do y'all go?
Well, usually about
2
now on
hours.
Sunday nights we cut it about now. And then on Friday nights we cut it about now, and then on Sunday nights we go prime time. And we're gonna add another night to the week.
Yes, we are. Can't wait.
That's even
Oh,
earlier
what?
when Thomas wants to come and play.
I'm down. I'll make it.
Yay.
Hell yeah.
Somebody said Olivia is wild.
So when Layla's other night off from the restaurant.
Wednesday.
All right. I think Wednesday nights.
Wednesday.
And maybe we'll try this week. You know, I'm having a feeling there'll probably be some kind of crazy false flag on like Monday or Tuesday that it'll amp us up
The
for
8th.
Wednesday.
The
But
8th.
I am going out of town.
That
I
chair.
forgot. I'm going out of town.
Pretty-
I might have to take a night show off.
Fuck.
Uh-oh. I just remembered that. I'll tell you guys off
Share.
air. I never have anything ever. I usually plan my life around not having Fridays, but I'm like, oh, I will totally be out of town Friday, but maybe I'll come on the show. I'll just be on my phone.
But
or
did
something.
you guys watch the Olympics though? Let me just ask you that real quick.
No, I didn't.
I just want to know what anybody thinks about the weird what's it called? The weird
Caca.
horse thing. No, the
Oh.
horse in the water.
Oh,
Oh, the pale horse going down the water.
Yeah.
bullshit ritual. Bullshit.
I had a dream about it before it happened.
Pale horse upon the pale horse.
It was weird.
Maybe you guys will come hang out with us, or you will. Sorry, Jules, you can't come hang out with us on Sundays, but maybe on a Wednesday night you can come hang out. But Olivia, maybe you can come hang out on a Sunday.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That's
yeah,
the
I
easy
usually
You
one.
can
work.
do
I
it,
usually
and
work
I'll
on
hang out with the
Wednesdays.
kids, and that's fine. That's fine. You're hanging out with them, so
Yeah. that'd be
Sunday
good.
is all girls.
And we yell at the chat a lot.
Sunday.
We yell at the chat a lot. We might be talking and everything is just copacetic for however, and then somebody says some shit, and then it might derail the whole conversation for the rest of the night.
That
So
sounds great to me, especially
yeah,
if I'm doing what
fine.
I'm doing tonight. Then I don't care.
Yeah. Well,
You guys are awesome. Thank you for having us on tonight.
well, thanks for coming to hang out with us and
Yeah.
hang out with our rad chat, our rad audience.
You guys are all
They're all rad,
Oh,
even
we-
Corey. Because
We
without
like
Corey,
Corey.
we wouldn't have got all those timestamps. And that
Corey.
is
I
amazing.
you come back and talk to me. That's all.
He's a huge man.
I am lit. Guys,
Corey, you know you love me.
Well, it's late. It's Friday night. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Do you have anything you want to plug that you have going on this week? Or where everyone can find you?
Thomas, are we doing a sound science tomorrow?
Maybe.
Has Mark? Okay. Well,
maybe if I hear back from Mark, maybe.
Guys, we may have a sound science tomorrow. ParanoidAmerican.com. I'm about to drop Elohim etymology at the end. Hopefully by the end of the weekend. Yeah. Schizo News Network tomorrow night. Just dropped the Schizo edits on my Rumble channel plus the new one. Yeah. I don't have. Oh yeah, we have.
Where can everyone find you guys?
Nowhere. You can't
Sorry.
find me anywhere. You can
Okay.
find me-
At Grey Pilled Pod.
Instagram.
At Grey Pill Pod.
On Twitter, Grey Pill Pod. And
That.
Instagram, Grey Pilled _podcast. And then
No,
I'm on Rumble, YouTube, Spotify, BitChute, Apple Podcast. Just Grey Pill Podcast. Yeah. And
And you can't find me anywhere, sorry, except for I'll message you guys afterwards.
Perfect.
She'll message y'all. Doing production for Already Dead every Tuesday at the show with Austin Picard and Jose Galison.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
all over YouTube and Robson and Rumble. Or
yeah. I'm on everything.
Twata.
You can find me
Twata.
hanging out.
X.
But
Twata.
Thomas, let me know, and if not, man, let's do something else. I think me and him have something planned with Ani this next week. So, bunch of stuff coming, guys. Y'all just stay gray pilled. Stay on the lookout.
Nah, stay God pilled. Fuck that.
Love it.
God
Love it.
pill. Take your God pill as well.
You're great God pill.
Thomas, what do you have going on this week?
I mean, if you haven't already backed NASAcomic.com, do that now. But the next big one's going to be IlluminatiComic.com. And after that is TitanicComic.com. And after that is SatanicPanicComic.com. He sends a trend. All those things are coming out. They're all done, but I just need to raise campaigns so I can afford to actually print them and ship them. So those are going to be back to back to back. So for the rest of the year, I've got releases, and I just got approval from Sam this week on Chaos Twins issue 2. So that's going to be under works. Probably by the end of this month, it'll be in the works.
Great
Yeah,
things, man.
If you've ever ordered a Paranoid American thing, you always get more than you order. And you can go to Indiegogo and back any of those campaigns. And you can go to paranoidamerican.com and find them. So or you might be somebody that you're like, I would like to do that for myself in my social media platform. Maybe Thomas is the person that could help you out. So find him and everything he's up to at paranoidamerican.com. And Abbie, Layla, do you guys have anything going on this week?
I do want to. I want to shout out my former body worker, Joy. She watches the show and she doesn't work for the spa anymore. And I found out like the day before my massage, and they gave me this bitch that doesn't hurt me the right way, Joy. So I need you to like get in touch with me because I need to find you again.
So Joy, you're gonna have to drop in the comments or somewhere in the links of these shows. You can find other ways to reach out to Abbie. And I don't know what I'll have going on this week. I do plan on recording. I did do the blue check mark thing for Secret Society of Good Guys. You can follow us on X now at Secret S of Good G. And we are going to do another show this week and maybe some rooms and whatever else. So make sure you follow us because I think we only have like 10 followers or something over there on X. I'll try to repost it and stuff too from my X
Me too.
account. So
I've been
thank you
slacking.
guys for hanging out. Yeah, there's been a lot going on. Oh, and I think we have a hurricane coming.
Yeah.
Telling you, Floridians.
Fuck. And Atlanta, Georgia. Georgia's going to get hit pretty bad.
Yeah, so.
Well.
Yeah, other states out there too.
Be safe.
Be safe out there. So we love you guys and KIT and
What's up, guys?
Yeah. XOXO
guys.
Bye.
Thanks for
Bye-bye.
Britney Spears, can we be saved? God, why is Satan controlling the universe?
Constantly explore the view of possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys. Witches, winners, bigger mistakes, entertaining, calling linguists. Good guys. Forum of decorum needs a secretive society to advance on philosophies intentionally, magically. Good guys, good guys, good guys, good guys. Witches, winners, mischief making. It's okay to change your thinking. Good guys. Good guys, good guys.
Spread the word with propaganda packs, all for just $40 shipped at paranoidamerican.com.
Paranoid propaganda packs.
Mommy, I got my